Hello, and welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So, first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Black Feather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, and we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or Raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast.
Hello, thanks for that introduction, Past Raven. Before we get into the game, I'd like to take the moment to thank our sponsors, Fundamental RPG and Grinding Coffee Company. Let's mute myself so I don't have double audio. Be sure to check out grindingcoffee.co and use the code RAVEN, that's RAVVYN, for 15% off your order. Let's go around, do a little introduction since it's been a week, and get used to our characters again. Econorlax, why don't you start us off with who you are and who you're playing today?
Hello, I'm Econorlax, and I will be playing Mips is very friendly but sometimes weird alien. He's a healer of the group, and well, that's pretty much everything that's needs to know about Mips.
Perfect. I just noticed on the prompter it is reading Meeps as meats, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Polished.
Oh, hi, I'm Polished. Today I am playing Autumn, a well-intentioned but somewhat paranoid birch tree.
With your accent, birch sounds like something else.
No, it
I know
doesn't.
that's not what you meant, but my brain went, what did she just call herself? Darkora.
The birch tree thing is never going to stop coming out of left field, no matter how many sessions we have of this. I am Darkora, and I'm playing Eva Maddock, a human engineer.
Right on. Jem.
Hi, my name's Dylan Jim, and I'll be playing Luna, the anthropomorphic bee. Who wants to know, do you like jazz?
And finally, Chabi.
Hi, I'm Chabi, or Hallway Secrets. I will be playing Willem Sizer, the android pilot, runner, and resident angsty teen.
Yeah, you do fill that niche. Yeah.
You gotta have one.
And I am Jay. I'm a GM here on the Black Feather Guild, as well as some other places. And so far, the crew has not only found out that the derelict ship they were on did not host any actual life, but in fact, they were all being manipulated via weird radiated chemicals. Last session, they not only found out that something may be alive or at least sentient within the fault, but that most of the things they saw on the ship were tweaked or somehow altered on the fly. As well, their ship had some less virus, more delayed code that was slipped into it during the encounter. And they've gotten everything out of it and kept it into a black box off to the side for now. They've also gotten everything out of their android counterpart. And everyone's more or less even now. You can all still remember the things that happened last time, but you've got two sets of memories. So you remember the dream-like kind of thing that you thought you saw on the ship and what was in fact happening. And you can clearly distinguish between the two. There's no, oh, is it really like this? It's like, oh no, that was clearly a dream. This is what actually happened. So as the days go on, those memories become more and more real and solid. So you're still kind of hanging out. Did you ever fly the ship back anywhere, or were you just kind of floated off a bit from the derelict and then sorted things out?
I think we probably were a little bit out, but not like we hadn't engaged the cleave drive or anything.
Okay.
By that point, I don't believe.
Exactly.
Perfect. So so now that you've kind of got things sorted, things are a little clearer. What do you want to do as a crew? What's everyone doing?
I think my first suggestion is going to be that we scan those fighters for any traces of radiation.
Yeah.
Before we sell them on.
Fair. You can easily run that while you were doing everything else. So when you scan them, there is trace radiation, but the half-life is kind of, it's going away quite quickly. It should be gone in about a day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know we go ahead. Oh, no, finish your thought.
It seems as though once things are taken away from the source of radiation, they decay quite quickly. So as long as there's not a ton of it in one area, it should dissipate rather expediently.
Okay. So I was just going to say that we had briefly mentioned trying to report our findings from the Orange Blossom somewhere. Do we have an idea of where that, like, who to report to on
roll me a no on that, and if anyone wants to aid on that, you can do that as well.
I'm happy to help.
Sure.
Oh, okay. No, that's a 6.
Go ahead and roll yours, Chabi.
Okay, so I'm just standard +0.
Yeah, plus int, whatever it is.
Yeah. 9.
Well, I'll bump that up to a 10 with the both of you kind of racking your brains for it. You've never been there, but you do know through the pad contacts and everything else like that, you eventually stumble across it seems as though it's a binary planet system. They're very close in terms of like galactic scale, but in terms of, you can kind of see it like we can see the moon.
Mhm.
There's two smaller planets in binary orbit known as Dinai and Rinti, and they are a scientific hub for kind of not only studying the fault, but other things within the range. They're known as one of the bigger scientific groups out there. So you think they might be a good stopping point in terms of getting a feel for what this radiation is about, what could be done about it to prevent it, anything like that.
Okay. And
Okay.
would we know
Where it is on
approximately whereabouts that would be from
Yeah.
where we are? Yeah.
So it should be, if I did the math correctly, it should be right about here on the map.
Okay.
For those at home, this is about 7-8 hexes from you. So it's a fair ways out.
Okay.
You do know that there is a large caravan route that kind of goes along the edge of the fault, so you could easily hitch a ride if you wanted to get there quicker.
Okay. And it does go in both directions. Like
Yeah.
you'd be able to hook up with it?
Yeah, it's like a two-way freeway almost.
Okay. That would be Will's first instinct, given his background with caravans.
Mm-hmm. What's everyone else thinking? I just don't want to presume.
I don't think Autumn has any strong opinions on the matter. It sounds as good as any other.
Okay.
She's also just trying not to rock the boat at the moment. It seems to be like a tentative, calm, like, okay, I think we're all good.
Mm-hmm.
So she's pretty agreeable right now.
Okay.
Mips is also has no opinion on the what should we do next in general. In particular, Mips will continue the purging regimen for the entire crew.
Perfect.
And also Mips has a little experiment to conduct. Mips is splitting into 3 quarters Mips and 1 quarter Mips. And 1 quarter Mips is not undergoing the regimen for now.
Okay.
So you got to control Meeps.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Okay.
want to. I could have done that with the most while the stuff was more concentrated, but I forgot. Maybe it's for the better. I don't experiment on full dose of the stuff. I just want to see, like, in 3 days' time,
What the difference
when
is.
when I try to reintegrate the sleeping Mips, because goes to sleep, so not to diverge too much. That if my memories will be different.
Okay.
If the difference will be recognizable, that's the experiment.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I will have you make a roll for that later on. Don't let me forget that. That's a
With
good point.
That's when the original Mips is fully purged.
Cool.
With the fact that Meeps is actually dividing himself in this, I'm thinking, like, there's loads of jokes coming in about, placebo arms and like blinding. Like, that's obviously when one of them doesnn't have any eye in the
Yeah, that's
segment
why
that comes
the
off.
Mips is sleeping, so it doesn't bump into things.
No, jeez.
Sure.
Okay. So how much smaller are you then?
I mean, the original is not smaller at all because, well, it comes of volume, not the height.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. So you're just a little less, like, dense overall.
No, maybe a little thinner.
Okay.
Lost some weight.
Interesting.
No.
Like, man, what
the
you
baby-
exercise? How you lose so much weight?
Yeah. What's the secret? Oh, subdivided.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby Mips just laying in the crib or in the bank.
Oh, that's so cute.
Wait, is that how Meeps' kinds make more of it?
Could be, but let's try to avoid that for now.
Yeah. Oh my God. What's your secret? Mitosis. That's great, Darkora.
Didn't your parents have this talk with you earlier?
Yeah. I feel like we
Meeps,
shouldn't have a conversation
Meeps-
about the birds and the bees, though.
The birds and meeps.
the birch and
Yeah,
the bees?
I mean the
Uh,
conversation about birds and the bees is about predation mostly.
It's true, yeah.
In this, if we assume birds and bees are together.
So I have a small question
Yeah.
as far as like how ships work in
Yeah.
in our game here.
Which is a good
like-
question.
Yeah, I'm just gonna divert
Yeah, like,
the
how do-
conversation a bit.
How do ships work? Like, as you're flying it?
No,
Is it a question where the little ships come from?
Yeah.
no, it is not.
When a mummy
We have
shipyard and a daddy shipyard love each other very much.
Look, we have two in the cargo hold already. But
Yeah.
my actual question,
The question is, will
Is-
we have 3?
Oh my
as
god.
far as like autopilot capabilities,
Yeah.
like can I set a course and then do other things and then come
Oh,
back
yeah.
when I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to?
easily.
Okay.
I would say all ships would come with some form of autopilot. I'm not going to say that you have to be sitting there the whole time, but it can only do so much, right? It's kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
cruise control.
But it's more like I can set it to be like, okay, get me to the caravan route and alert me when we're close.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
As
it'll
far-
basically go through pre-programmed actions, and then once it's out of those actions, it just sits there waiting for orders.
As far
Correct.
as you remember, there are pretty much detailed rules about that.
Yeah.
That you can do autopilot in the with the normal engines, subspace and sublight
Exactly.
engines.
Yeah.
But the drill ones require
The-
living people.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're doing like a spike drill, quote unquote, or
Oh,
a
yeah, I'll
cleave
have to be
drive
there for
check,
that,
then
obviously.
yeah.
But only one requires to be the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two that take shift, they are essentially just keeping.
Yeah. For this
things
one,
stable.
I'd say just roll me a check just to see how well you put in the actions and everything like that. But otherwise, I'm not going to make you roll for a spike drill on this.
Okay. Well, are we like
So
in
you're-
range to get
You're
there
not
expediently
quite
without
in
spiking,
range.
or
You're not
Okay.
quite in range. Yeah, I'd say you're at least a hex out to be able to get within range of a caravan. So
Okay.
where you are, there's not a caravan that you know of that comes around the horn, so to say, of the lac.
Yep. Okay.
But with this one, it's a pretty easy check, I think. For one hex difference, it's like I want to say it's an 8, maybe.
Well, I have my focus that lets me auto succeed on a 10 or lower.
Yeah, then you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me that. So yeah, you can easily get there. And after about 2 days travel, the drives wind down and you find yourself in a much more populous area of space. There's a lot of ships going here and there. You're near some fairly populated star systems as well. This is not a jumping off point, but this is a last port of call for about 2-3 weeks, like normal travel time. So it's kind of let's call it a gas station planet or outpost. So kind of the last stop to get supplies or gas or what have you. And it's here that after another day of waiting, you find the caravan known as the Whispering Dune Fleet. And if anyone wants to make a know about that, you can get some extra
I
information.
do.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
see.
Go for it. And the general gist that everyone kind of knows, you're all fairly familiar with caravans, but let's see what everyone got on that as well. Ooh, we've got some big numbers at the. Ooh, well,
And then,
Spoke too soon.
so we got. Oh wow, we've almost got a straight in the Jads. Like we just needed a 10. So for everyone 6 to 8, you know that, or I should say 6 and 7. You know that the Whispering Dune Fleet is a spice caravan. It's known for not only growing but refining and trading in, majorly trading in spices and seasonings and things like that. So
I see what you did there.
while this seems like an odd thing, kind of in our world, in this world, having a dedicated planet growing these crops as opposed to actual food crops almost seems like a waste. But what this caravan did was slowly over time, it accrued more and more spices and more things that could actually grow in 0G or in kind of ship spaces. Think like a mushroom starter pack, or like here's your little thing of tarragon or like cilantro or what have you, but on a mass scale. So they've got
So
ships.
genetical engineering,
What's that?
like genetic
Engineering.
yeah, like that.
Yeah, exactly. So they've selected for certain traits. They have special machinery to kind of get it to grow in 0G and in low G environments, and it's pretty popular. Those of you with higher than 8, you know that there is a special event that goes on these ships. It's kind of like a carnival almost, which is known as the Flare Path. And that is essentially a hot pepper eating contest. The reason that it's such a thing is that you can win prizes in it if you get high enough in the ranks. Those prizes can include ship components, but they can also include pre-tech salvage. There's also cash prizes, obviously. But those of you with higher than 10, which I think is just Meeps, you know that the Whispering Dune Fleet also hosts a small band of wake chasers. And wake chasers are people that do kind of like ship spotting, like train spotting. And they keep an eye on weird or otherwise somewhat interesting kind of ship wakes and different travel things, like things you wouldn't normally think to look at. They're the weird people who study travel paths and, oh, this ship went from here to here, but it should have only taken 3 days, but somehow it took them 9 days. So there's something weird going on there. They're almost conspiracy theorists.
Like the Kessel Run down to 12 parsecs?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of, they're a weird specialist breed.
William, it's your people.
Yeah.
That's damn straight it is.
Yeah, you've definitely had interactions with wake chasers before, Willem.
So they could be interested to talk to about what we've discovered, maybe, if we filter
Exactly.
through the weird conspiracy theory stuff.
For sure.
Common sense. And I'm guessing Eva, with her 3, her knowledge extends to haha, ship go space.
What you basically know is that the Whispering Dune Fleet is something your family and even some of the workers at your family hired told you to stay away from, because it's quote unquote a dangerous place.
Okay.
Ship go space.
Ship go space. I love that. You can't just compare one caravan fleet with the other one. Ship go bird. So here's the question for you, and this is something that I don't think we've talked about yet. I think we touched on it. When you join, what's that?
Do we want to partake in the eating competition or not?
Well, there's also
That's
that.
a big question.
Yeah. As a ship, do you want to join the fleet as a passenger, or do you want to join the fleet as a part of the bleeding edge, which is being in the front V? So the difference there being, when you are a passenger, you have to pay kind of room and board on the ship, or on the fleet, I should say. It is 100 credits a day per small fighter, 500 for a frigate, 1,000 for that, and it kind of goes up like that.
It's about 3,000.
Yeah, give it for about 3,000 for the trip. But if you choose to be on the bleeding edge, there is no credit cost, but you will have to make some rolls.
It could be more interesting if we're on the bleeding edge.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
mechanics wise, most certainly.
Yeah. So there's kind of
I do have some experience in the matter.
You do. You certainly do.
Okay, so MIPS relies information about both the eating contests to whoever didn't have it, and the vacuum nerds group.
Yeah, vacuum nerds.
Vacuum.
I love that.
Like
And also MIPS asked Autumn if we are maybe interested in maybe if it is even possible to buy some saplings.
I am absolutely keeping an eye on that. If we still plants, so I'm absolutely interested.
And they would be good for growing on a ship.
Yeah.
So if Autumn wants to make a shopping or sightseeing tour, MIPS we would absolutely love to accompany you, because MIPS also likes plants.
And I should say that the fleet itself, as though that is the main export, they do still trade like other goods, but that is their main deal. I'd say about 70 to 80% of the ships on the fleet that are permanent have some kind of growing like hydroponics bay in them.
Okay.
And Mips wonders whether they are actually allowed to start in the contest even. Like there should be some extra rules for extra species.
There would be if they knew enough about you.
Oh, okay.
That would be up to you to see if they knew much about Cordinians.
Aha, good thing they don't know that Bijuns only taste sweet stuff. They don't have any taste buds for other things.
Ooh.
I'm not really sure how my taste buds work.
Yeah, we
'cause I
haven't.
don't have many.
We haven't really gone
Same.
into taste buds per se. I
Yeah,
think there's only.
let's take a little science class right now on space species with taste buds.
Is Eva the only one who can actually taste properly?
Probably.
I mean,
think,
William's a human, so he could taste properly.
but Willem's an android,
Oh,
so it's like,
I'm dumb, wrong person.
oh, it's all good.
I love the
Yeah.
idea that Luna hasn't noticed anything different.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, that has to be a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 humans on the crew. Like, there's what?
Oh, there are 3.
Well,
Technically,
yeah,
because
technically.
we have Fret and
Fresh and
Wirren,
Wirren,
but-
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh my god, I just picture Luna sitting at the dining table, looking through like different books and through the PDA. Like, wait, what species were they again?
Mhm.
Hold on, let's look this up real quick. What species I haven't discovered this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're holding it upside down. That's Arcadian.
I think just because we've got the question in chat from Raven, she has 2 separate ways of eating. Effectively, one is full-on tree mode, which she doesn't like to be in the first place, and then there's the more humanoid side. And I think she can taste more like nutritional value as opposed to flavor.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a sort of pleasurable aspect of eating for her. It's
very
it's
mechanical.
sort of this is how we obtain nutrients. I don't
Well,
understand why.
Do the
Taking pleasure in eating is for predators. Mips doesn't approve.
Yeah, it is.
Which is actually interesting because I kind of imagine like Willem eating is more for the flavor than the nutritional value because like he just charges
Yeah.
Yeah.
for actual
imagine
energy. He
being
doesn't-
able to taste all flavors.
There's more nuance to this crew than I think I expected when we first went about characters.
Isn't it great?
Wow, I love it. No, I'm absolutely here for it. It's a journey. So what would you like to do to join the caravan?
So I think we already have chosen to go to
Be
the
on
bleeding
the
edge and
edge.
participate in almost everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if you're on the bleeding edge, someone does have to stay on the ship to pilot it for not the majority of the time, but it's kind of like shifts. So you'll stay on for, 10, 12 hours at a time, and then you'll be free for whatever else you're doing. In your case, it's lucky that you don't need to sleep. So the caravan has already stopped at the planet, and you know this, Will, and I'd say anyone else who wants to know can know if you've been on a caravan fleet before. Caravans will stop at specific points and then Cleave Drive to another place, and then so on. They don't like stay in Cleave Drive while they're waiting for people to join them because things don't mesh properly when that happens.
You can't really like slip into.
Yeah, you can't. You'd have to.
In progress.
The amount of guesswork and math you'd have to do to actually join another ship while it's in Cleave would be not astronomical, but you'd be risking severe implosion and or like stretching yourself across half a light year.
It would essentially be like trying to drive a boat into the wake of another boat.
It'd be more like trying to drive one boat into a larger boat's like bay almost.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's like trying to it's like a plane trying to fly the same speed to land on a bigger plane or what have you.
Or like parachuting out of one plane and then trying to parachute into the cargo bay of another plane.
Exactly. Or an aircraft carrier at speed with a plane trying to land on it. There's a lot of math involved.
Yeah.
But yes, so Will, you know this well enough that you can just kind of figure out where you want to be in the bleeding edge, whether you want to be straight forward or you want to be on the edges, but you'll rotate out as the days go on. Much like geese, you will, position yourself when your ship is tired, quote unquote, or you feel like taking the backstretch. For the rest of you, what it means is there's a small shuttle service that allows people to, it's kind of like a metro in and of itself. So there's little shuttles that you can kind of hail like a cab. They'll dock with you, you get on, you tell them where you want to go. They have a small service fee, and then you go to another ship. There are ships as big as, I would say there's no ship bigger than a cruiser, and only a few of those in this fleet. And then there's smaller frigates, and it's kind of like almost like a farmer's market, in the sense that there's big stalls, small stalls, medium stalls, kind of like that. But they're all either interconnected via docking or via this kind of shuttle network. So Will, can I get you, when I read this off, can I get you to make me a roll for your strike roll, or for cleave drive, I should say. So when you join the ship, or the fleet, I should say, they make room for you, everyone lines up. And much like when you first engage a cleave drive, you see the heat waves kind of distorting space around you. You feel your stomach drop a little bit, and you feel gravity shift directly ahead of you. In this sense, it's more like when you're on a plane and you feel that initial bit of takeoff, but scaled up. So for you, where do you want to be on the bleeding edge?
Not really sure.
Okay. This is more just flavor. This is more just so I know where you want to be.
Okay. Will would probably want to be close to the front.
Okay. So we'll put you like kind of front left center.
Sure.
When you engage your cleave drive and everyone else engages theirs, there is an almost audible hum through the ship. And it's not just your drive, but you can hear everyone else's kind of linking and mounting, and the sound cascades over itself. It's like hearing 6 different or 10 different sounds of waves all overlapping. And the space in front of you gets more and more distorted until you can barely see the stars ahead of you. And it almost looks like there's a thin band of just starless space directly in front of you, almost in a perfect V shape, kind of going towards the horizon. Can you make me your roll? Yeah, and this one is definitely 10 or above.
Yeah. So it'd be pilot X, right?
Pilot, yeah.
11.
Oof. So with an 11, you get everything working just right. You sync yourself properly. You start getting kind of muscle memory of how you used to do this. And it goes off without a hitch. You feel space kind of not giving away from you, but almost falling away in the front. Almost like you're going over a waterfall that never quite ends. And you just feel like you're riding the cusp of that last little second before you drop. And you don't see it, but you get the sense that you're moving through space. Yeah.
Feels good.
We just had something in the chat. Hello, darkness, my old friend, but in positive major scale. That's great. So yeah, you're now in what they call the bleed. And that is kind of the between space when you're in the cleave, especially when you're on a caravan. So what would everyone else like to do? Will, you're stuck there for about 8 hours before you have a chance to kind of break off and sit in the wake.
We decided to repair fighters on our own, right? So fighters are not ready for sale, I guess.
It's been about, how long did I say it's been? It's been about 3 days, I think, since you kind of figured everything out and started moving. So I think by now, what is it? It's
We have
500.
gotten one of them ready.
Yeah, I'd say you got one ready, and the other
Did we have
one's
two?
you had
Yeah.
two.
We had two.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say one's ready, one's like full value, and the other one is about 3/4 value right now.
Sure. Eva, I think, will be when she's not like making sure the engine's running at full efficiency. She'll be working on that.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll be helping out in my spare time as well.
perfect. I think between the two of you, it should only take one more day for you to get them both kind of in working order.
Okay.
Let me
So
just
3
double check what
days
the cost
also
was.
marks the end of the therapy.
Yes.
for the crew?
So let's see. Can you make me a heal? I'm trying to think if it's a heal or a no check for this one.
Since it's done with medical equipment.
And you've already figured it out. It's more about delivering the treatment.
Yeah, I'd say a heal check.
11.
11, perfect. So without a hitch, you deliver everything as needed, and you just so I have a clear understanding of it, you basically made a control of yourself. Were you giving that?
It's sort of a reverse control because I left infected. Part of me
okay.
infected.
Okay. So are you then taking that part of yourself back in to then integrate the memories, or is that?
Well, I connect physically without full mixing.
Right.
And well, I suppose I should have some biological mechanism for, well, checking the parity bits or something.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah. In terms of kind of like connecting a data cable almost.
Because I have so many copies of me, there has to be a biological mechanism for checking if the copies are true.
Like a biological checksum sort of thing.
Checksum.
Oh,
that was the word I was
that would do.
looking for.
So what are you checking specifically? Just to see if the memories are still there or if they're changed somewhat, or?
If delivering the therapy, if purging myself of the stuff, well, that is the assumption that purging myself of the stuff cleared my memories. Now, when I have uncleared set of memories, can I spot the difference?
Yes.
Between my cleared?
Yeah, I would say you can definitely notice the difference between them. I would say within a day, it's not instant, but it is within the same day of you doing that, you sense that one set of memories is distinctly fuzzier almost. It's very kind of vague. There's different things about it that seem kind of nebulous, whereas the other set of memories is very real and clear and defined, as much as memories.
So I will look for specific chemical markers. Not specific memories, because memories are more than chemistry, but if I can't any chemical markers just for noticing that the change is there. So if I can, if there is a chemical marker to me noticing I'm infected with radiation next time.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say you can find a chemical marker for that. You can make one, not make one, I should say, but you can make it easily identifiable. And I'd say with an 11, you think of a few ways that you could kind of mark it, like you give, what is it? They give you a dye when you get a X-ray. Is that right? I'm trying to think how that works now. No, it's not X-ray. It's ultrasound.
Yeah.
There's different types of
MRIs
dye for different procedures.
So you can basically make one of those to easily detect it that way. Instead of having to do like a full bioscan, you can simply go, okay, I'm going to give you something that when this happens, you can, with an 11, I'd even say you can make it show up like as a little dot or something on someone's wrist if you really want.
Oh, so that chemical would also work for other species?
Yeah, you think within reason, obviously. For your crew, it should work because you're all roughly humanoid. With an Arcadian, you might be able to make it change their color. But for most of you, you can make it show up as a kind of a patch or kind of a reddening or whatever color you want on their skin.
So I would assume I want to, with the help of somebody more knowledgeable in electronics, I would say I would make some kind of, wearable electronic appliance.
Sure. Yeah, like a not quite like a pacemaker, but something along those lines. Yeah, I'd say you could do that. You could get Yurt or you could get someone else if Ava or Autumn were inclined.
Eva, would you like to help me with doing some
I am
medical
not
equipment?
amazing. I'm not amazing with electronics. My skill tends to be in actual like physical mechanics.
Okay,
but I
so I
could
will
give
go
it a
to
shot.
Autumn.
Okay. have
So
fun.
I will ask Autumn if Autumn feels better with helping me here.
What exactly are you trying to do? I'm sorry, I don't. Do you have a translation for that?
We found some chemical marker for the way radiation affects our memories. I can isolate and identify it. Maybe we can make some electronical detector.
Okay.
I'm sure we can. We just need to do it.
Right. I can give it a go. It's medical equipment is not my specialty. I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Well, it is mine. I just need some help with wires, CPUs
Okay.
and stuff.
So if you want to roll me a fix, both of you, we'll see how well you do with it.
It's a 9.
9 and a 6. I'd say that's a 10 between the two of you. Yeah, you can make something that's pretty. It's not the most state of the art, but it'll do. It'll certainly tell you when you're detecting higher levels of that chemical in your system. And that one you should be able to reproduce pretty easily.
It's perhaps a prototype, but should be enough for the moment.
Okay, so because I still not reintegrate. Do you want? Well, can we say I've still not reintegrated myself fully? That I keep the sample isolated.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I will just stick the wires.
And as soon as you connect it in, the kind of sensor goes off and indicates not only how much there is, but how roughly long it should take for it to get out of the system.
Oh, it works. So I will.
Okay.
Well, the sticking was just to make it quicker because I say we should make a proximity version for the species richer in pain receptors.
I'd suggest as much, yes. It sounds like a good idea. I am slightly disturbed walking away from there.
Not only did you just watch Meeps, see the other Meeps, but you, that would.
It's the whole stabby part that weirds me out a little. I've seen plants do weird things, but we usually don't like casually stab into each other for medical purposes.
Hey, listen, so this is stabbing to bring someone back to life.
I'm a plant. Like, stabbing us doesn't usually
that might be the
help
best
much.
response for most problems. I'm a plant.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, you've got that. I'd say you can create one of those per. If you dedicate one day to it, you could create 2 of those a day.
My next idea would be increasing the range, so we can have a detector for people we pass by.
Okay, so kind of like a sensor almost.
Yep, so we can find somebody infected around us.
Yeah, that one would be another fix check, I'd say, if you want to make that.
But that would come after
Yep,
I make the personal detectors. We make personal detectors for the crew.
for sure. Yeah, if it's one person working, you can make 2 a day. If it's 2 people working, I'll say it's 3 a day. They're
But
fairly
that is
rudimentary.
but that is secondary to our adventures on the caravan.
What I can do is see if I can use some of the ship's sensors that are already scanning the crew
Mhm.
and sort of tell them what to look for.
Yeah, we need to have that conversation with you too.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
certainly.
I can toy around with it.
Yeah, I'd say that's something you could probably do.
Because now that I've built something that looks for that, and Meeps has explained it to me a bit more,
Mhm.
it's like, this is what I want you to scan for. That should be a lot easier
I'd give
than
you
building something separate.
for sure, yeah. If you're changing your ship's sensors to do that, that would be a program, but I'd give you a +2 because you not
Okay.
only know what you're looking for, but you know how to find it.
15.
15, hell.
Nice.
Didn't even need it. So with a 15, easily you can recalibrate your sensors to detect that. So should that ever show up, you will get a ping before you are in, let's say it's like 100 meters out. So it can detect it up to 100 meters out in space. Maybe let's say 200 meters because that's space is pretty big.
Space is pretty big, Jay.
Yep. 2020. Quote me on it. This is pretty big. I'll lean into
You're
it.
not wrong.
I think that might be a raid cry suggestion. So what's everyone else doing while you're on the fleet? You've got, I think, what did I say? It was an 8-day trip.
I mean, we also need to like visit the place and eat all of the spicy things.
Yeah.
I'm about to win this contest.
So if you want to take a cab out, you can take a cab out to the larger ships.
About how often does Will have to take a shift, by the way?
Your shifts will be every 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be like a day on, day off, day on, day off. So we'll consider this the 8 days to be kind of nebulous in terms of when you do things. So don't worry about like, oh, on the second day we're going to do this thing. Like you can just kind of
Right.
We'll spread them out as we need to. So yeah, what would everyone like to do? I'll give you this. The flare path is on the bigger ships usually, as far as Meeps has, or not Meeps, I should say. Meeps and everyone else that's heard about it knows about it. It should be on the bigger ships that contest is held. As for wake chasers, they're on some of the smaller ships. We'll say there's 3 of them that you think either host or were last known to have been hosting wake chasers.
So do we keep together for ease of things? Do we make an organized tour of the caravan?
It's a field trip, everyone.
Yay!
Find your accountability buddy.
I'm down for that.
Field trip.
Do you
With the
have
friends?
exit
No.
buddy?
I'm going to 100% Bagsy not being Luna's accountability buddy.
Yeah, no, sorry, Luna.
1, 2, 3, not me. 1, 2, 3, not me.
Wow! 1, 2, 3, notes go.
Can you play the nose game with somebody who doesn't have a nose? Do bees have noses?
I mean, touch where your nose should be.
I suppose.
And Luna touches their antenna because bees smell with their things.
Oh yeah, like
Antenna.
I smell with my entire body surface.
yeah. Oh my god.
I just touch the inside of your palm, like.
Oh. So you can also take the NPC crew members if you would like an escort.
I think it's a group outing. Like it sounds like it.
Yeah, the rest of the crew is definitely interested.
Or at least, like, because someone has to pilot the ship, there'll probably be 2 separate big outings.
Mhm.
I think so. Everyone gets a chance to
It's a
stretch their
vacation.
legs if they have them.
It's like Scooby Doo. We're splitting up.
Yeah.
If we
I
need
would
them, we
assume
have them.
that I would assume that basically whenever it's not assist in the cleave drive duty, Tolis can.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. If you're sitting in the wake, Tolis can definitely do it. I will say you will. I would kind of wish there was a gut feeling roll in this game.
Can I don't know how much the VI controls things, but I might be able to tune in and effectively like autopilot plus
Kind of like
Autopilot.
remote control it almost.
like
Yeah.
cooperating with the autopilot.
Yeah, the autopilot doesn't so much control it as it is a very analog. Here's all the
Okay.
things you should do, and then you can just set it to loop if you really want to.
Okay, so it's not the VI. Okay.
No. The VI is taking care of like
What?
oh, I just lost the name of the thing. Your air.
We also
life
lost
support
a
and all
crew
that stuff.
member. So.
Oh no!
No, man down.
Could gut feeling be no plus whiz? Yeah, I could see something like no plus wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
But you know that from what you know of Tolis, you know he's probably not going to take it for a joyride while you're in the cleave.
Yeah, he's a pretty trustworthy guy when you're on his side.
Yeah. And what I will also tell you is when you are in the wake of the caravan, you're not actually using your cleave drive.
Right.
So you're technically it's like you're flying the ship normally, but you're not in normal space.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Was I Will doesn't know that Tolis is able to do cleave runs, but he's enough confidence that he can just keep it flying straight.
He's competent enough. You could trust him to sit with the car while you go into the store. You think he probably won't go driving it off or anything like that.
Like all of the wipers will be on, the radio will be on a different channel.
Exactly.
But it will still be there and in one piece.
Yeah, he's turned all the lights on. He's drained the battery halfway, but it's fine.
The seat alignment's all screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. The rear view mirror is like turned halfways. You're not sure why. But yeah, you think Tolis could do it easily. Though he's a bit bummed about not getting to go out every day.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what's I know I've asked this like 20 times, but just tell me where you would like to go first. Let's do that.
Maybe go visit the conspiracy theorists first.
Was it business first, then pleasure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while we're doing that, keeping an eye out in case anyone happens to be interested in fighters.
Sure.
Yeah.
At full price, especially.
Okay, that would be what you need. So what you have. So whoever is keeping an eye out for the fighters, I'd say probably two of you can do it. Max, do me a trade roll with.
Oh, that is a skill. Look at that.
It is, yeah. With int or with charisma.
I can try.
Let's not forget we do have 2 d6s.
No.
Oh yes.
I might chuck in a d6 if the other person rolls poorly too.
Does anyone else want to do trade?
I could give it a shot. I'm at -1 for it.
Okay.
Same.
Anyone else? I've also got no charisma bonus or intelligence bonus. So.
All right. Well, I'm at a net 0 because I do have an intelligence bonus.
Okay. I mean, go for it.
I was
No
at
chance
a
on ID.
0 as well.
Well,
way better.
Very nice.
With a -1, no less. That's great. So we're just about to get Econorlax back. He seems to have had some issues on his end. But with a 12, I'd say you can sell them for market price. That's a really solid roll. If you'd gotten a 10, you might have to haggle a bit. But let me check what they were worth. Starship Hulls. So a strike fighter, which is what they were. I think I'd peg them at 20K. So they're not necessarily, not market price, but at highest price you could sell them at. Because they're outdated, I think was the reason. But I'd say they're both worth 20 grand. So
What, each or between them?
Each.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you
Hot
can
dog.
make a cool 40 grand credits off of both fighters. And you sell them to someone who's basically going to turn them into shuttles for the fleet. Like they're just going to kind of strip out the majority of the components and sell those wholesale.
Okay. And we still got our sealed containers from the
You do, yeah.
from the thing as well. Should probably think about.
Which containers?
Do we know what's in those? I don't remember those.
I don't think we've unsealed them yet. They're from the salvage.
Yeah, you had some sealed containers. You also had some personal effects from people. I'd say you've got 3 crates. I think, let me just check my notes.
Yeah, you gave us, we had 200 sealed containers. According
200
to
or 200 credits worth?
I don't have an indicator in between. I just have 200.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, as far as I have it written, it's 200 credits worth of salvage.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll say it's like 3 large sealed
Sure.
containers. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Turning camera off. 1 second. Boop. Yay. Up. That.
Oh, okay, fine.
Cool. Yeah, so you sold those off for 40K, and you've got 3 large containers worth about 200 credits total. As far as you know, they don't have much in them. You've already kind of scanned them, and they've just got like trade goods.
Might as well get rid of those 2.
Yeah, might as well get rid of those as well.
Yeah, with a 12, I'd say you could get rid of those easy.
Cool.
So 40,200 credits total. Here, I'll go ahead and write that down on my end as well, in case we lose it, because that's a substantial chunk of money. So who all is going to meet the Wake Chasers? Got Meeps, we got
I'll come.
Choppy, Arkora.
Yeah, I think we're all.
You all going? Oh,
We'll go.
perfect. Jem, are you going as well?
Sure. You can try some peppers.
Yeah. So you take a shuttle out, and I'll just give you a rough amount afterwards for the amount of travel you do. It's kind of a flat rate, but you take a ship out to a smaller group of fighters that are all interlinked by, imagine like piping, almost like you see, industrial kind of silver plated piping. They've got like tubes going between their ships. So you dock at one of them, and when you come in, you immediately see how dark it is in here. All you can really see are the console lights and a few people drifting in very almost running lights, 0G. So they're spinning around, and somebody's floating down a corridor. And someone floats up, grabs a handhold as they come up, and it says, "Hi, you are you here for orientation?"
I did which orientation? Sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Orientations?
Tourists. Sorry, we were expecting someone else. We what brings you in?
We heard about a pepper eating contest.
Oh, yeah.
Among other things, yes.
You'll want to go to the salivary gland. That's what they call the big ship in the middle. I don't get it either. Don't worry. That's where the flare path is. But we're a small group of wake chasers. Was that what you were looking for? Or?
Yes.
Yes, that's the other thing we were looking for.
Right on.
In addition to the hot peppers.
What brings you in?
We've got some findings we think might be of interest.
Oh, right on. I love findings. Yeah. Come on in. So he like pushes off the console, does a little somersault backwards, and starts floating back down the corridor.
Yeah. Sorry, just Arkora in chat, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I was trying to get across.
Yeah. What brings you in? Oh, we've seen some shit, man. Oh, goodness. So
Want
yeah,
to
if
see a
you
dead body?
yeah.
Body has been discovered.
Oh my goodness. So if you follow him down the corridor, he leads you into a slightly more well-lit room, which has got a little holographic display in the center. And there's a few other people in here. There's another Jintai. There's a Polity as well. And for reference again, just so we're all clear on it, Jintai are Tychus on your crew is actually a Jintai, and Jintai are a kind of amalgamate species. So the head and the body are two different species that connect and are in a symbiosis. Whereas the Polity are strange. They're the closest to humans of all the aliens, but they still look very distinctly alien. They've got a nautilus shell-like head and digigrade feet. But there's a Polity and another Jintai here, and they all nod to you as you come in. It's full 0G throughout these ships, you can see. But the holographic display in the center looks like it's of the range overall. So yeah, what'd you find?
I'm gonna hand over a. This is like, when you're trying to ease someone into something, so you prepared an abstract.
Oh yes, yeah.
But it's written
Here's
in a
how
very
shit went
friendly
wrong.
way. It's in a sort of, I don't want to break you, but I want to
Right.
pique your interest.
Okay.
I'll just hand
It's like a
over,
pitch almost.
yes, a
Yeah, okay.
slab with that.
Okay, so he kind of looks it over like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Corvus, take a look at this. So hands it to the Polity, and she looks it over like,
It's also to keep them from like stealing all of our
of course, yeah,
in case
right,
this doesn't go well.
For sure. Hands it over to the Jintai and looks at you like, what were you doing out that way? And how did you, sorry, what?
We responded to a distress call. It was either going to be a rescue mission or a salvage operation.
What
ship.
Do you have the registry for the distress call? So, and you would from PDA, or the pad rather. So she looks it over and she starts cross-referencing something on the screen. You can see something going up and it looks like she's searching some kind of registry or some like list for this. There it is. All right. So this was about what, almost 2 weeks ago now. This was the one I was telling you about. And she's speaking to the man that brought you in. This was the weird one.
No shit.
I'm also looking to like everyone else in the group to see how they're reacting, because I'm pretty much the one who happened to write the summary. That's the only reason why I'm talking here.
So Willem's actually probably gravitating towards that map that you mentioned. Just like seeing what sort of details that
so when you inspect
this sort of group would mark.
Yeah, you can actually see there's a full layout of what the caravan fleets do, and you see a number of caravans you've never heard of, let alone. You see your old caravan fleet, in fact, and the Iron Maiden fleet, as well as the Whispering Dune. But what you also notice are hundreds, if not thousands, of little almost pins put into different places. Kind of, and if you kind of mouse over with your hand, it'll bring up a little pop-up saying, when this was found, what was, interesting or strange about it, different kind of notes. And there's a lot of them. Most of them look like they're around the fault, but there's a few little patches here and there out in the void.
Okay. And I assume the answer is fairly obvious, but are there any pins in the fault region?
There is one. And when you bring it up, it says something along the lines of, can't remember what the name is, but isn't this that old homestead for them?
Whereabouts is the pin?
The pin, if you're looking on our roll 20, is roughly here.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of north of the Soul Peak on the bottom right corner of the fault. Sorry, just writing something down. So, like, can you tell us anything about it?
It's radiation played a big role.
All right. Do you know what kind of radiation? Like, we're not scientists by any means, but you know, we know some kind of things about it.
So I imagine that Autumn has planned out a gradual scale of things to tell people. We're moving on to step 1.5
Right.
of easing people into this.
I also got kicked out before we can discuss this for a moment. So what is our goal? I mean, as a group here, to sell them some stuff?
You can have discussed this beforehand for sure.
Because Autumn doesn't know much about these particular group of individuals.
Yeah. Will is more interested in getting information from the Wake Chasers.
So we want to get information. Give information and get information in return.
Yeah.
There was some sort of exchange. Okay.
Yeah.
You like things that are unusual, don't you?
Well, yeah, that's like our whole thing.
Well, we may be able to. This type of radiation, it does unusual things.
Well, like it mutates, like it turns you like grow like a third arm, or
no, that would have been easy.
Yep, very easy.
That's normal radiation stuff.
Yeah.
This is weird radiation stuff.
So like a third leg.
No. Like a new set of memories.
I was gonna say closer to a third eye.
Whoa. All right.
Autumn is suddenly very worried that was the wrong information to give.
Yeah.
When you come across one of those ships you've been tracing, like, do you get close to them?
Well, like sometimes,
or do you do that from a distance?
Usually from a distance, because we're not. And he kind of looks at the other two, like, we're not like adventurers or anything. We're really good at spotting stuff, but I don't know about you, but I don't want to jump into some crazy old derelict ship.
Yeah, that would be silly.
Let's do something like that.
A normal ship like this, you keep it in repair and maintenance and everything like that. It's going to keep you okay, but something that's been floating out in the void for 10 years, 5 years, 1 year. It's an abandoned building.
What Autumn would want to share is the sort of, this is what to look out for, that a normal ship could do, whether that is scanning people or scanning the ship. But as a sort of, those weird things you don't want to get too close to, this is how you spot them. And ideally then tell us or someone about where these things have appeared. So it's like, hey, we'll give you the curious weird thing you're into,
but
if you tell us when you find anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's roughly where she, because they're already looking for weird things. They're probably quite likely to find it.
For sure. I'm going to say that is a connect roll. So I would give you a +1 on that because they're already interested.
Damn it. Will you let me use talk?
Can I
look at it?
If we are going to do connect, can I assist? I have, I believe I have a +1 to connect for my.
Yeah, I have a -1.
For my I have an extra bonus from my familiarity with caravans and being born as part of a fleet.
Yeah, I'd say we could do an assist on that. I would say talk in this case is less applicable because talk is more convincing people about facts, whereas this is more getting a business deal almost.
Shit. So which stat?
Charisma or int?
That's an easy choice. Do you want to roll first?
With a +1 modifier. 9. Not great.
So that's
not terrible.
+1 we're adding.
No, not terrible, but not great.
Yeah, +1, yeah.
Can I
do you want to add a D6 to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
If that's okay with everyone that I'm using it.
Yeah, I'm happy. This is important.
It's another 5, so that's way better.
So with
That's
13 plus the 1 from Will.
No, I've already added the 1. So.
Oh, that was okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So 13. Yeah, you know what? I could go in for that. We find anything kind of with this signature on it, we give you a wave, and we maybe take a cut of whatever kind of weird stuff you find in there. If that works for you. Up to you, in terms of how much you give us, but just like a finder's fee almost.
I'm going to suggest, and I'll talk to Meeps discreetly at some point while this is a big group conversation, that we throw in one of those scanning devices just in case they come across someone who says they've...
Right.
So maybe we could do it like this. We try to... that's the discussion we have pre-meeting because of me being kicked out of the Zoom call. I wanted to. So if we want to ask if somebody was doing the on-site reconnaissance, like they said, some people get on those ships.
Yeah,
I think that's more what they want us to do.
Yeah,
if they.
But some of them, but do they have in this group somebody who was on this ship?
No. I don't think so.
If you ask that question, because nobody's actually asked it yet. If they
so let me finish the plan.
Sure.
And if they do, they maybe can test this device on this person, and if not, we just share it as it is.
Well, yeah, we did have one group of them that used to go out, and they were kind of our hands, whereas we were the eyes and ears, right? They used to scav all over the place, but last I heard, they joined up with the scrappers. So if you still want to get in contact with them, they're.
So you have nobody here who has ever been on such a derelict?
Not in the last 3 years, I'd say. I mean, we're a small little group, but not in our clique, no.
So do you have some kind of thing like headquarters?
We're a nomadic group. We don't really have like a conglomerate kind of corporate place that we sit together, but we got some boards that we chat on. We got, inter-range communications.
We hang out in forums?
Yeah. They're definitely forums.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask if it was this universe's version of IRC or something.
It's kind of like IRC backroom chat, yeah. Or like Angel Fire forums.
So between you all folks here, who has most contact with this weird stuff? Like on these boards or the emergency beacons?
I can do some digging. I think we got people like that. I just have to find their handles and their comment info. But yeah, I could get that.
But like physically here.
Physically here, no, man. We're eyes and ears on this caravan. We don't leave much.
So that's all of you here.
Yeah. There's about 30 of us here, and we just kind of hang out and look for weird stuff. The pins you see here, these are all kind of every one of us has the same shared info. We all keep it together on a big thing up there. It has its own server, and we put new pins when someone else finds something, and then we verify it and everything like that.
Can you tell me
Mix
anything
is
else
unsure
about
how
this
to
one?
proceed.
Oh yeah, that one's. Remember that person I said went off to the scrappers? That was one of theirs. We didn't get much info out of them, but they said it was something that I don't know, like it was some hand down tale they kept hearing from people. I think it was from you folk, the human types.
Autumn looks genuinely confused at this statement.
From what you've seen, the guy that's talking to you looks human. Like he looks like Ava and Will.
Yeah, but it's also more confusing because the majority of us aren't human looking.
Well, I should say he specifically points at Will and Eva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you general kind of types.
You vaguely humanoid things.
Yeah.
Is this a story Will might have heard before?
Roll me a no. This one's going to be a real tough check. So unless you, pretty much unless you max out, I'm going to say probably not.
With int?
Yeah, int.
Nope.
No.
Not a clue.
Not a
Never.
clue. You remember hearing some weird tales about like old homes and things like that, but none of it sounds familiar. With that, though, I'm going to leave us on a tiny little cliffhanger of let's go on break. So just so we have a quick minute to stretch our legs, get some agua, everything like that. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so, folks. Get up, stretch, do it. I know we all say we want to do it. Nobody actually does it. Get up and stretch, get some agua, all that. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you stretched. I sure didn't. I did get some more water, though. So I hope you're all refreshed and ready. When we left off, you were talking to the Wake Chasers. And you were, I think we were mentioning during the break, you wanted us to talk about the weird one.
Mm.
Yeah. Willem will pipe up as he's like still staring at that map. As something, it sort of clicks in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. What did you think was weird about that distress signal? I mean, I know what we think is weird about it, but how did you?
Well, for one, and this is Corvus, the Polides speaking. This signal doesn't look right. Like it's all weirdly garbled and a bit distorted, and also we're pretty sure it came out of the fault. Which, stuff comes out of the fault every now and then, but not whole. Not like this. So that's kind of why it was weird.
Wish we knew that before we got there, but we know now.
I mean, it's not a lot of people talk about what the faults. Most people just kind of keep it to the background. So it's not that surprising you didn't know much about it. I know there's rumors about people going in and not coming back out, but like from everything we've seen, there's a reason why the scrappers are so prevalent. Like there's a lot of junk that comes out, but nothing really intact. I think the biggest thing we've ever seen was the front of a ship.
I don't know if I would have called the blossom intact, but yeah, sure.
Front of a ship? Like how much of a front?
What was it, about 17 meters? 17.3 actually. So 17.3 meters of hull roughly at the widest point. But that's kind of it. It's kind of like if someone had just scooped off the front of a ship and then shot it out.
Well, those two ships were pretty operable.
How do you mean operable? Like what? So okay, I know we're on like the defensive on both sides, but what can you tell us?
I don't really know. Autumn.
Gee, called out much.
There's a bus coming. Autumn, take care of it.
I took one on that planet earlier.
In terms of what it does, you mean? Or
Well, like, what did you see? What happened?
this radiation, it's able to alter what you see. It's able to alter the psionic aspect of things. It's able to get into senses. We have samples of code that made its way into our ships via scans. It's the closest description I can give you is a hallucinogen, but it affects far more than normal senses.
That's
also-
a lot.
Yeah,
It also affects VI.
and yeah,
Keep it.
And
So-
electronics in various ways.
So the Jintai is kind of in like writing things down as you're saying them, and just starts kind of correlating things on their screen. It looks like.
I'll up the whole to the. We're now at level 2 on this 5-point scale of information I'm sharing. So I'm backing everything I say up with data and readings. that we
Right.
found.
So this is section 2 of Autumn's TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
we're in the.
This
We're in the
Autumn
20
just
minutes.
like it's the. She's had
Hi,
experience with people having to learn a whole lot of new information and process things in a very short period of time. So she's doing this gradually, making sure
Mhm.
they're okay, and that it's not too much, because then they're gonna pull back
Of
from
course.
their
yeah.
experience.
Mips is kind of person that would go, if I want you to have a heart attack, then I would tell you that, and that. That's kind of how Mips talks, so that's why Mips wants to leave it to Autumn.
Thank you for that lovely meme, Gem. Good God.
It has an idea. Panic. It has to do with art. Calm. She takes a giant paintbrush. Panic.
So you've got some weird stuff that happened on that ship, and that's it's troubling. It really is what it is. It's concerning. Should we even get near these things?
That's why we're hoping to tell you about how to detect this type of radiation, so that at least you get a warning, and ideally can turn away from it, because it took us a long time to figure out what happened.
This is gonna sound real weird, because
That's
like
fine.
Try me.
We've had a lot of weird, so you'll fit right in.
fair. Remember, because I said one of us had gone off to join the scrappers.
Mm.
I think you could probably sell this kind of tech to them if you wanted to deal with pirates, which I'm not saying you do, because that's there's a weird gray zone there, but like they would probably pay real well for this kind of thing.
We're hoping to find people who are interested in finding it but not interacting with it.
That's fair. Yeah, I just
Because-
mean, if you're hard up for money, they might be buying.
No, I appreciate it. Keep in mind, we were exposed for a very short period of time,
How long?
a few hours at most. I'm
And-
pretty sure.
Yeah,
as
it
a
was a few
player.
hours or so.
Yeah. And we nearly stayed longer. And it still took us days to undo the effects.
What do you mean you nearly stayed longer?
It makes it harder to leave. We don't know if it's intentional or not. But the things we saw and experienced were quite intriguing.
So, was it like a lure?
I'm not sure. It could be.
because we've seen things like that every now and then, not to this extent, but like booby trapped ships, and they'll have someone maybe someone stays on board and lures people in. It's not necessarily pirates, but there's definitely booby trapped ships out there. This sounds weird though, like weird.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure why it behaves the way it does, or even what it really is, but that's why we're a bit worried about people who would actually go there.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple contacts in the pad I can pass this on to if you're okay with that. Just like they might pass this on to anyone who's doing an SOS.
Yeah, it would be a good idea to give them something to keep an eye out for.
To scan for a particular type of radiation at long distance.
Long distance.
This is wild. Do you mind if we trade in com info just so we can keep in touch?
No, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
I think that would be a great idea.
I'd love to talk more about this. We don't. I mean, the weirdest stuff we see is like a freighter doing like a smuggling run. Things like that. This is. I know you all went through some really weird stuff, but this is really cool. I got to be honest. This is way beyond anything we ever see. Sorry.
Speaking of, how can one get our hands on this map?
Oh, that's that we can talk. That one we try not to give other people kind of until we know they're cool. We've had some issues in the past where people wanted a map like that and then they ended up stealing things out from under people. There was a lot of backstabbing, literally in some cases. Let's just say we're real careful about it. No pictures, please.
I
click.
Am I able to tell what Meeps is doing?
I see you just saw the chat, hey?
Yeah.
Meeps, are you doing a little tippy tap dance?
Well, let's say yep. I might look a bit impatient. Yes.
Meeps kind of is like bouncing a little almost. It's kind of just like back and forth.
These trading rituals are weird.
I'm gonna give them a curious look.
Meeps is just used to pressing the button, and the money amount is decreased. The thing I'm purchasing is mine.
We do have a prototype on how to detect when people are affected by it.
All right.
We'd be happy to offer you one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. We could. You don't mind if we tinker with it, right?
No. It's yours to do what you want with.
Right on.
It's more. Try not to break it, please.
Spend
some time on it.
No, I don't. We'll take care of it. We just want to make sure that we can, if we need to reproduce it or what have you, we're not going to sell it. Don't worry about that. We're nonprofit. But
we're non-profit weirdness.
Yeah. No, we're non-profit weirdos. That's how you do. There's no profit in it anyway. We can definitely spread this out among the other the chasers out there. The other weight chasers. Yeah, I'm sure they'd love to get their hands on something like this. So, do you have a name for the radiation?
Do we have a name for the radiation?
I mean, you know it's a band of radiation that's never been seen before.
Yeah, but no, I meant more, did we name it? Because this player has forgotten.
Yeah, no, I don't think you did.
We did not.
We are
name
not
it.
good with. We are not good with naming things concerning our discussion we have about our ship, right?
True.
Yeah, we haven't spent enough time flying with this weirdness to know its name.
I'll probably just give out the specs for it, but not the name, because we don't have one.
Okay. Okay. We'll spread news about it. Yeah. Was that all? Was that all you needed? Do you think? Because we'll still be in touch, but I kind of want to go over this data.
So, I understand not wanting to share the map, but how about this particular?
No.
Can I?
No, well, I think map is worth part of our stuff. Atom just needs to continue. Sorry.
I want info on this pin, Meeps.
Okay. We don't normally do this because you're, I hate to use the word, but you're outsiders.
We're strangers.
You're strangers. You're weirdos coming in with all kinds of radiation talk and everything like that. And I get it. You want to see what's on the map. Anyone that comes in here, tourists or orientation, it's a neat thing, but it's not free. By no means is it free. What I want you to do for me is I want you to go and check something out for me. If we're the eyes and ears, I want you all to be our hands in this one.
But our hands were already deep in the jar. How would you put? Do you? There is a phrase like this: hands in the jar, right?
I'm a bit curious why you don't think we've given you anything in exchange. And I'm going to look straight at the data pad that he's holding.
We've given you a lot.
You've given us a place to start for sure,
and offered you a free prototype of something that could save your lives.
And a free prototype. The reason I'm giving you this is it is one of our pins, and it's a pin we haven't been able to check out for a while. And there should be something really interesting in it, which we're willing to give you in return for whatever else is going on there.
Well, what is it?
So it pulls up the map, zooms into a spot, and I'll show you on the map over here.
And I'll sort of hand over the lead to Will for the moment.
Sure.
He's the one who seems the most interested.
So right in the middle of the surf, right here, there's a station sitting out there. And this caravan goes over the wave just like most others do. I think there's only 2 caravans, like the Iron Maiden goes through there sometimes. And then there's another one, but we haven't heard from them in weeks. So we don't know if they're coming around this way again. But anytime you're in there, it's real hard to stop a whole caravan fleet just to check out some derelict space station. You know what I mean? And like I said, none of us are adventuring types. It's pretty dangerous to jump out of a caravan fleet just to check out a derelict in the middle of the surf. Tide might pull you away, if you get my drift. Mm-hmm. So what we're asking is if you go out there and you check it out, and this isn't, we're not holding you to contract. This is more of an open kind of thing. If you do this for us, we give you the map. If you go out there, you go into the station. Rumor has it, they had an old piece of tech in there. This station's been around for about 30, 40 years. And at some point, people say it used to run in the surf. Now, that time has passed for sure, but it's still intact. We don't know how. Something's got to be keeping this whole wreck intact when everything's flowing in there. Those channels that you see in there, and they point to it, and you see what looks like a time lapse almost. those little wavy paths in there are constantly shifting. It's like watching a bunch of tubes constantly kind of rolling over and undulating within it. These safe spaces, they're constantly shifting and moving. And, you know, sometimes they can stretch all the way out to here, and sometimes they're tightly wound. I don't know how it's doing it. And I keep telling these bozos that there's got to be something in there. So really, what you're doing is a favor for me to prove them wrong. So
Will is trying very desperately to keep cool because this is probably like the most exciting thing to him ever. The opportunity. I can't remember honestly, and I don't remember if I wrote it down anywhere, which of the
I think
channels. I think it was the Soul Peak.
I think it was Soul Peak, yeah.
Okay. But like it would never be allowed to use the surf because of all that shifting.
Yeah. As far as any of you know, if something was in the fault for any period of time, it should be torn to bits. Like the sheer forces of radiation, gravity, everything else going on there. It's kind of like if you were to throw like a ship in a bottle into the ocean, except the ocean is full of like hot plasma. So it's just it should not be able to last more than like an hour at tops. Ships go missing in the surf sometimes, like and in other places like that, unless you've got a strong caravan fleet with a really good bleeding edge. It's dangerous to go through, and even with a good bleeding edge, you can still get hit by storms and otherwise. So it's definitely a dangerous task. That is clear to all of you.
Now, when he says the station is in the surf, is it in the physical, like in the blue space on the map?
It's in the kind of
or is it in the channels?
Yeah, it's in the channels. So
okay.
So if you go out there at any point, you know, let's say in the next like 2-3 months ish, and you find whatever's in there and you bring it back, map's yours. Like you can keep the thing. We just want to see it. We just want to know how this is working. Cause like nothing lives in the vault, man. You kidding? This is crazy. There's no way.
Now Will is desperately trying to keep this cool. He knows something's fucking living in the vault.
Okay.
So yeah, we can give you coordinates for it and everything like that. Yeah.
If we find ourselves out there, I think we can make that arrangement work.
Right on, right on.
So you want that? Are you interested in stuff we already have from such a find?
I mean, like, what are you talking about? Like, what kind of stuff?
We don't know. Well,
all right.
Well, I mean, we. Well, you said everything on such ships that came from the fault is interesting.
I mean, yeah. Anything that gets past the scrapper line, that's usually either pretty big or it's like weird. Or it's pretty big and
weird. I think we need to talk among ourselves a bit.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, you got our line.
Mm-hmm.
We'll we'll always be here. We don't.
Can you tell us one thing?
What's up?
You are here about this eating contest.
Oh yeah, the flare path. Yeah.
How they handle rules with different species? Because when stuff is hot, it works different for different species.
Oh,
Do you know
totally.
something about this?
Yeah. So what they'll usually do is if they, you tell them kind of what your capabilities are, like, because for us humans, like we taste spicy stuff, like it's hot and it burns. But for like the Jintai, eating peppers is like berries for us. To them, it's like, oh, this is nice and sweet. So they change what pepper you're gonna eat based on that.
And if they have no reference,
I don't know. That's something you probably have to take up with them. I mean, they might have something, but you just might not be eligible.
not eligible. Okay. That's probably most likeliest course of action for them.
And and you see, like all three of them have easily been eyeing up Meeps the most, just kind of like what's going on there?
What are you?
Yeah. It's clear they've never met a Cordinian before.
But Mips has won the battle with themselves to tell, oh, I'm human. I was just on such a ship.
Yeah.
I'm having an allergic reaction. That's why I look like this.
Yeah. The swelling should go down in a few days.
Or years.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be here. Drop us a line if you got anything else.
Let's try them.
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Let's try them peppers.
To the salivary glands we go.
Salivary glands you go.
We want to eat things and we want to buy plants. That's roughly what we have.
Sounds good. Yeah. Let me just check my list here.
Yeah.
Eat things, eat plants, buy things. Wait.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that either. Like, it's a perfectly valid way of putting it.
So yeah, you take another shuttle back to the salivary glands, and this is a large cruiser ship. So your frigate is about as big as a fighter is to you as you are to the cruiser. It's gigantic. If I had to put it in building perspective, you are a city block with a frigate. A cruiser is probably like 6 city blocks, give or take. Whereas a fighter is like a house. So it's gigantic. You shuttle in, and immediately,
Mips just wanted to sum the meeting up.
Yeah.
They were another kind of weird we were expecting. That was weird. We need to discuss things. What do we want to trade and what do we want to get?
Very good question. I would say that most of the things in the book will be available here in terms of equipment and otherwise. You just may have to do some digging if it's out of your normal range. But yeah, if everyone's good with that, I'll carry on with the descriptions. When you dock and the door opens, you are immediately hit with, when you walk down the spice aisle in a grocery store?
And
it's like
with that.
It's like that, but someone's like blowing it in your face. As soon as the air difference hits you, you just get this huge waft of spices and seasonings. It's kind of like almost like a bulk store just for spices.
Smells like food.
And there's a lot of food smells, a lot of like grilling, like garam masala almost. There's like harsher peppers, everything that you can imagine spice wise. You can smell it to some degree there, if you can smell. But yeah, going in, the inner section of the ship, what looks like it would have been a cargo bay normally, has been converted into almost a free market. So there's stalls set up. There's it feels very much like a fair. So there's a lot of entertainment going on, people doing shows, people selling plants, people just generally wandering around. It's kind of a like I said earlier, it's like a farmer's market kind of vibe. So people just coming to and fro, window shopping, things like that. Actually, it's reminiscent of a convention almost. like a spice convention.
I love open air markets.
Mm-hmm. We have one in town here, small side, that is, I think, 10 or 15 city blocks, where they just turn the whole street into a market.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It's bloody. It's just lovely. Problem is they do it in the middle of summer, so it's like 30, 40 degrees.
Eesh.
I'm just writing a list of things Autumn is keeping an eye out for.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what
I
I'm
like
doing.
it. Yeah, what's everyone else doing? Are you going straight to the flare path, or are you doing some buying first? I mean, don't overwhelm me.
Well, Mips just hang. I think the plants will be somewhere else than the spices themselves.
To a degree. Some of the stalls
lot
are
of overlap.
selling. Yeah, some of the stalls are selling full plants. Some of them are just, pardon me, selling like cuttings or dried samples. But most of the stalls in here have some variety of plant that they've got in the back of their stall, kind of to show you, hey, this is the kind of thing we're selling. Here's what I've got.
Yeah, I'm just Gems soon might be acting up.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It just crashed for no reason. I don't know why.
Jeez. Sorry about that.
Now Gem has mitosis.
Yeah.
Mitosis.
I think autumn is, in general, like things to look out for. Something familiar that she hasn't seen in forever.
Okay. I'm also going to note, Raven's not in the Zoom chat anymore.
I can still see her there.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah, I still see her too.
Am I crazy then?
No, it's showing me 2 gems, but...
Weird.
Raven.
Okay, sorry, Raven. I noticed, I'm like, wait, is someone hosting the call?
Has someone checked our radiation levels?
Yeah, exactly. I think something's going wrong here. Have I really been drinking water? So, so sorry, you're looking for things you haven't seen before.
Okay. A few different things.
Okay.
One, something like a rare plant that is familiar to me, or a rare spice, something that, is a bit nostalgic to me.
Whether or not it's actually from home, just whether it like kind of...
Yeah, just as a sort of, something that makes me go, oh, yeah, that reminds me of my childhood kind of bullshit. But also some plants that can help with cooking or medicinal use, since we are creating a hydroponics bay.
Fair.
And also something that can be used to make natural paints.
Ooh, okay. So a very dye-heavy plant, yeah.
Crushed flowers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am losing my headset. Hang on.
No worries. Let me see here. And help with you.
Okay, I'm back.
This would be a trade roll for that one.
God damn it.
I'm going to give you a plus.
I'm going
to give you a +2 on this because it's a big bloody ship and it's a big caravan. If you were like a local market planet side, you may not have a major bonus, but pretty much everything you want is here. You just have.
So is it a +2?
+2, yeah.
Okay. And which stat?
With that one, int or inter. You know what? I'm going to say int or dex. Because this is about you kind of walking around trying to find the place.
It's only a 9.
A 9? Okay. So it's going to take you a while to find it, but you will find all of those.
It's okay. I'm enjoying it.
For them.
Yep.
And what's everyone else doing while you're doing this? Anyone looking for anything specific?
Trying to find out when they're holding that contest.
You think they're holding the contests from what you've been hearing around people? It should be sometime today. It seems like they hold it kind of daily, quote unquote, because there's no days in space, but they still hold to a similar pattern. It should be happening today in, let's say, like 4 hours.
Ooh, got time to kill. So let's just look at some spices. So maybe like some plants that can like ground up if you turn into paint.
All right. Yeah, with that, what did you get for your roll, Polish? You got a 9? Yeah, I think it was a 9. I'm going to say that you're going to bump that to a 10 with Gem helping you out in that.
Mips is just hanging with them, ready to carry the pots.
Ready to carry the pots. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, you find the ones you're looking for. And are you trading or are you buying? Because there are two. Oh, I don't like the look of that cloud. Sorry, I don't
think
want
I'll
to. Heads on a swivel.
try to trade first.
Okay.
And then what I can't trade for, because this is a free resource for me.
Right.
So.
I would say if you're using that, you can do 2 of those. The third one is going to third one's going to say like, oh, I've already got a bunch of these kind of things. So.
How much would that set me back then, credits wise, if I'm able to trade for 2 of them?
Let's see. So we'll give you the nostalgic one and the kind of utility, like using it for cooking and healing and things like that, for the trade, and then the die heavy ones for paints. 150.
Damn. Okay.
Not 1,000. Just 150 credit.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's for enough to be able to make like a full kind of paint set out of it, not just
Keep
one.
in mind, I do want it to be able to grow.
Yeah.
That's the plant itself, not.
Yeah. It's basically enough that you could. It's more that there's a range of plants for it. So they've got we'll say it's almost a chimeric species, where when you grow it, the change in light levels will change how much of the dye it's producing. So you can kind of tweak it to whatever shade you want, and then clip off those buds, grind them up, and then you can get it to regrow new ones.
So we can essentially grow entire wall, entire painting on the wall.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. They don't flower, oddly enough, but their buds can be dried and crushed up into the dye.
So are the buds themselves the color that the dye will be?
Yep.
Can I create? For future, but could I like grow a mural?
Yeah. You think with given enough time and effort, you could probably grow a mural.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just out of interest.
Cool. No, it's cool. I will give you a name for that in just a minute. Once I think it up. But yeah, 150 credits for kind of enough that you could grow, like enough cuttings that you could grow reliably from it.
I think Eva would be looking around the market for like any food she recognizes from home or any similar food, and just looking for something, a taste of something she recognizes.
Yeah. Hilariously enough, you actually notice a stall selling. So tell me, Ava, what was your family's farm plot known for? What was kind of your major export in terms of fruit or veg?
What was our export?
Or something you liked the most out of what you exported?
Wow, you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I gave you.
So from what I remember, your world was terraformed into an agro world.
Yes.
And your family was one of the noble families that had the kind of growing rights in their area.
Yes.
So it could be literally anything. Right?
I think they specialized in like a rare variety of apples.
Okay. I'm almost picturing like they've spliced cinnamon in with it.
Yeah.
I think that might be interesting. So yeah, you find spiced cinnamon apples from specifically from your world as kind of a delicacy. So they've taken them, they've almost marinated them, sort of, but without making the apple mushy. So they've kind of coated the outside skin in like a spicier texture without making the apple mush.
These are a rarity. Yeah, I'll definitely buy them.
All right. Those will be
like buy enough for the crew, the crew that can, I'll buy enough for the crew.
Yeah. Like 15 credits. You can buy like a tray kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. And like
Spicy
excitedly
apples.
come back to the crew and like hand them out and go, "These are from my home world. I can't believe I found these from my home world."
Ooh, good for you.
Oh,
Try them. I haven't been home in so long.
I'll definitely
Luna-
try them.
Iluna will too.
Okay. Yeah, you get the sense of like cinnamon and apple right away. I think it's kind of close to if you've had a Macintosh or a Spartan apple. It's kind of a mix of green and red apples, and with cinnamon added in, and then you get a spicy flavor on top of it. So it's got like that spicy, cinnamony, sweet, sour.
This is good.
And like when they get left over in the autumn, they poach them down and then make alcohol from them, and it's so good.
Wait, question. Can I try to look around for things that might have been come from Luna's planet?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will do that.
I would say you have to look kind of high and low, but in one little corner, you notice that there is, I'd say it's probably not a Beedrin that's selling it, but it is someone that's selling, what's a delicacy from your world or something from your world that you want?
Okay, so it's a fruit. It's shaped like a honeycomb, and when you squeeze it, it's kind of like this sugary liquid comes out of it.
Nice. I like that. So yeah, you see them selling that as kind of like a vendor food. So like they've got it wrapped up, you know.
It's on a
Oh,
stick.
I
Yeah,
haven't
it's on a
had
stick.
these since I was a. Oh, I haven't had these since I was a little larvae. Ah, these are so good.
So yeah, you could buy that. If you want to buy like enough for the crew, that'll be 15 credits each as well. It seems like there's kind of a
I will
flat
buy
rate
it.
on food here.
Yeah, I will buy it for the crew to try.
Cool.
So that's 15 credits.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of it's shaped like a beehive when it's growing, and then you can slice it into the circles.
Yep.
That would be interesting. Yeah, if anyone else wants to look for something from home, if you think it'll be here.
Yeah, they won't have anything. I can tell you that already.
I guess it's kind of something from home,
Mm-hmm.
but Will would be wondering if there's any sort of like stall of someone selling like info, particularly rudders for the space between the binary system that I don't remember the names of that we're heading towards and the surf.
Sure. Yeah, you could find that. You find a few info brokers here and there. There's like some of them are just straight up terminals, and then you see a few people who are bargaining those services out, basically. So let's see. I'm trying to think where I put them on the map now, because I didn't actually draw them in, because I don't do maps very well.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No.
What you already have is way more map than I've ever been able to put together myself.
Yeah, well, it took about a week and a half to put it together, so don't think that it sprung out of nothing. This, I'd say that they're in this sector, so they're just beyond the surf. I don't remember where I put them before, but this is where they are.
Okay, so we're actually going past the surf to get to.
Oh no, sorry. Right. I'm a dummy. It was actually here. Yeah. I was thinking of something else. That's why. So
here.
Okay.
Here, yeah. So you wanted any rudders between here and the surf, like kind of here?
Yeah, and
okay.
The stretch goal that I don't expect to hit is actual data on the surf.
Okay.
And like to see if there's any sort of patterns I can discern from the shifting,
right?
Or if it's truly random.
Okay, yeah. Roll me a trade, and then roll me a no.
Okay, trade with int.
Trade with int, yeah.
That is a 6.
Okay, so you find a guy that's willing to sell it to you. This is an Arcadian, and they're willing to sell it to you, but you can tell they're gouging you.
Okay.
So let me see. I don't know if the book actually has a price for those.
I don't know either.
Yeah, but you know what we're gonna do? I know what I'll do. So 370
That's a lot of
credits.
sixes.
Yeah. So 370 credits is what it'll cost for the info.
Okay, and then does that include any data on the actual surf itself, or just the space between?
Mostly just the space between.
Okay.
Yeah, because most rudders will just be like navigatable space. They tend to ignore
Okay.
anything that's not.
Okay.
Sorry, navigable. And then roll me your no.
Submit. Another 6.
Yeah. So with another 6, they look too random. Like you don't think you have enough info or like a large enough sample size to really get a feel for how they move.
Okay.
You think once you're in them, you might have a better idea though.
Right.
It's kind of like you could see a wave off in the distance, but you won't know quite how it's going to move until you're riding it.
Yep. Which Will is perfectly okay with, but he was hoping for more data so he could sell the rest of his crew on it. Because I feel like there's going to be some resistance, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Maybe a tiny bit.
Yeah. But I know he's, even though I can tell he's gouging me, like I'll deal out the credits to said broker.
Okay. So yeah, you get a rudder for that, and it's I'll say it's like 3-4 days old, so less than a week.
Okay.
And is anyone else buying or doing anything?
Well, Mips won't find anything from his own planet, probably.
Definitely not.
But there is one question I want to one thing I want to check. How many plants did Autumn get?
3 different varieties.
Physically speaking.
Physically speaking, probably like 20 cuttings for the dye heavy one. For the nostalgic one, how many would you want polished?
I just want enough to where effectively Autumn's long-term goal is to have as many different things as possible.
Okay.
Look, she's a little bit of a hoarder when it comes to plants. So she's going for a single item, not the quantity.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a thing Mips would like to ask Autumn.
So we have much more money than that. Why we are not buying everything?
Because we only have so much space.
But we still have a lot more space than these plants will cover.
Well, yes.
I thought we will go like everything will be in plants.
That's the long-term goal. There's many more plants than you can find here. I want to collect different things.
But they have different things here too. We just bought like 4 or 5 species.
Well, I'd like to think that each of them I've chosen for a reason.
Because Mips isn't sure how to explain that. We feel like doing things in bulk. That's the way to put it. We wonder why isn't so for other species. Like we could have traded everything with those vacuum nerds, which name I forgot. Or we could buy a lot of different plants and start with a lot larger patch.
I'm a plant. It takes a while for us to grow.
We just like
a
to
lot
expand.
of things that way.
We just like to eat and expand.
I mean, that's also appealing. It's I've seen a lot of plants. So some of these, they're lovely, but they're not interesting.
Okay, so I think when we will meet you halfway, Mips will buy 1 plant, but 1 that grows fast.
I love that.
What is this virus skill?
Okay, can you point us to one that grows fast? Wait,
Is there
that would
anything
end-
else you wanted to be able to do?
Wait, I think that's a bad idea after all. I just imagine entire ship overtaken with this one plant.
I mean, that I can easily find something like that. I think Eva might murder me though if it gets into the engine.
No. So let's find Mips a plant that grows fast, but it is edible, so the crew can eat the overflow. Right, that's the best idea.
So we're just gonna have like a trailer following behind the ship, kind of like that, with front spaces.
I'm thinking something like the equivalent of spinach, almost.
Right.
Spinach.
Swift lettuce.
I have swift lettuce. I almost want to see if I can find the video of this.
Edible vines, that would be the best. Edible vines.
Okay. I'm sure Autumn knows a ton more about plants than I do.
Yeah. I would say you know of something that's almost like celery, but it grows like a vine, and you can just chop it into whatever length you want.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
God, that would be really cool, actually. Celery vines. Sorry, I love celery. So yeah, you can easily find that. Did you want to trade for that or buy it outright?
I would just buy because Mips doesn't really get this trading idea like it was shown in this discussion we had earlier.
Right, you like hard to find.
We give you all, give us all you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how Mips does the trading.
Okay. Yeah, that one will be. What did I say was yours? Autumn was 150.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one will be. We'll say 130.
Okay.
It's clear that they aren't gouging, but their prices are pretty high in this place. Like these plants normally wouldn't go for that much money. But they are also rated to be in low or zero G. So even if your ship turns off, they should list.
So what do they grow in? Sort of, we need to we need to buy some soil for future?
I'd say they come with enough soil. For that price, they'll come with enough soil to kind of grow it in. You'll just need to make sure it grows along something. It's kind of like an ivy.
Okay. So no soil, no pots. Okay. So that would be all.
It's space. We don't need soil.
I mean, we do have part of a hydroponics bay as well. So I'm assuming, I know we don't have the full thing, but I've imagined this thing growing by like adding plant box after plant box.
Basically.
Kind of thing.
You're, what is that?
As well as automated watering and stuff like that.
For sure, yeah. I'm trying to think what the word, modular. That's the word I wanted.
Modular,
yeah. Yeah, it's very modular at this point. Rotating.
We also are headed for science planets, and
it's true.
Have a fresh batch of 40K credits. So,
yeah, have you all been taking from your own personal?
Yeah,
I have been.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really loud. Okay. So, does anyone else want to do anything, or should we move on to the pepper eating?
Pepper
You want that? Yeah.
So, now that you've all kind of gotten your plants and other foods from home and things like that, I've also just posted a link in the Zoom chat. This is kind of how I imagine they grow plants in space. Anyway, you find yourself in a dedicated part of the ship for the flare path. And there's a big showman kind of up at the front, or show person, really, Chopin. You see them up on the stage. It is we'll say it's another Trivian, actually. And they are up on stage. They have like a light pinkish hue to them. And they've got like a long dark blue fringe going down the back. Folks, today we've got a flare path that should rock every bit of your anatomy. Who's interested?
Luna raises both of her left hands up in the air.
Oh my goodness. I just looked at Econorlax too, doing it like a okay, so we got Meeps, we've got Luna. Anyone else?
I'll give it a go if they let me.
Fair. So all the
Um,
people who have abnormal, let's say, tasting mechanisms, different,
I'm
not abnormal.
yeah, I'm not. I don't think either's that interested in giving that a shot.
That's fair. You sure? So what you see on stage, as they're kind of giving out the list of prizes and things like that, first place, and it's a round of 7. So whoever lasts to the end of 7, if there's multiples, you just kind of do a show off. But if there's one person at 7, they'll get the biggest prize. So first prize is pre-tech components. They say that there's 2 kind of units of them, and these look like old. They almost look like ventilators. Like they've got that big kind of top of a building air supply, but they look just bizarre. If you want to roll a no on them, Eva, you might know them. I would say no one else would though, because you haven't had enough exposure to old components probably. If you think you have, by all means.
That's a 10.
10, okay. From the look of them, you think these are combination power converter and air regulator.
Oh, okay.
But you know that with the tech they put into these things, they were made to last.
Mhm.
Right? So they're modular enough that you can repurpose them for something else. And
Okay, that could be really useful for us.
Yeah, they'll still work to some degree. The rest of the prizes are like starship components, things like that. A power supply to kind of boost your ship's power source. And the first tier, let's say, not first prize, but 1 out of 7 is just money. So it's let's say a $5,000 pot. 5,000 and then 15,000, 25,000, and then it goes into ship components and then pre-tech. So we've got Meeps, we've got Autumn, and we've got Luna. Anyone else? Will?
Let me check something.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just turn off like his taste receptors so he won't be able to taste the spiciness and be like kind of like a cheating way.
Is that what you're looking up, Will?
No, that's not really what I'm looking up. Wisconsin's pretty decent. Yeah, we'll participate.
Okay.
If nothing else, for that sweet pre-tech chance.
I'm like, is there a buy-in to take part in this?
Yeah, we'll say there's a buy-in of 500 cred.
Whoa.
Oh.
Holy crap.
Suddenly less interesting.
Yeah, I'll probably sit out that one.
Okay.
That's a lot.
You do still have 40,000 that you made from the fighters.
Yeah, but we have things to spend that on. Like,
That's
this will be
fair.
out of my personal stuff.
That's fair. So 500 credit buy-in. Third place is 3 out of 7, I should say, is 25.
I could fund 2 people quite happily.
So it's 500 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Luna's getting in there.
All right.
Autumn. Sorry.
Meeps will have to ask the judges first.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like before you spend it, we'll do that.
Sure. Autumn Meeps, if you wanted to, I could fund you 2 to take part in it.
I mean, it was just for fun. It's not a big deal. If you want to, sure, but
it's another chance to get some good stuff for our ship.
Meeps is just curious how this works. I can fund my entry myself.
I can fund
But
you and me.
I will give you this pre-tech if I win.
I'm just trying to imagine Meeps with 2 pre-tech components in his med bay. Just like, I won them.
They're mine. It's the rules. I even like them.
Yeah, I even like them. Oh my god.
Just like Autumn's habit of compulsively spending money on plants is like draining. It's not too bad, but she's like, that's too steep. So if Eva does offer to pay, like if she wants to, sure, but Autumn's not going to push.
Yeah. No, she's happy to pay. Another shot at getting the pre-tech stuff.
And did I hear you right, Ava? You also wanted to join?
Yeah, for the delicious pre-tech stuff, I'm in.
Okay.
Yes, the delicious pretext.
So we're
Yes.
all in.
They made them all
Mm.
tasty.
Tastes
So
like
you're all in.
toast.
Technology was tasty back then. What can I say?
It was, yeah, it was edible. It was wearable. It was edible. Truly the hallmark of our times. So we're gonna go from the top of the list down to the bottom. Ava, you're fine because you're human. They like scan you up and down. They're like, okay, you've got normal, not normal, sorry, I should say. You've got this kind of taste receptor. So they'll group you in with another group that's got similar things. Kind of, it's like a weight bracket almost. Meeps, they do a scan of you and they're not quite sure what to make of the reading. So they're just going to ask, like, how do you deal with spicy food?
I eat it.
No, really.
Does your species have taste receptors for spice? So they give you like a little kind of like a capsule almost, and they're like, when you taste this, does it give you experiences of pain, anxiety? Like, does it cause?
Yeah, we would need to discuss this sort of, Jay.
Yeah.
I think my species is essentially plankton
Okay.
filterings. Well, like all the algae or seaweeds. That
like filter
is my
feeding.
origin.
Okay.
So I guess any kind of taste buds would go against this concept, because what would we need them for?
Yeah, that's true.
But also, that's also how you detect poisonous things. So
it is, yeah. And spice, capsaicin especially, is a poison.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and also MIPS has this chemical communication thing, which essentially is a taste.
That's true.
I was writing taste is actually mine sense for this species.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, but.
Yes, but. I like
yes,
it.
But.
So they'll put you in the yes, but category. There's a few other species. I think we'll say the Polity and the Arcadians obviously are a yes, but kind of species. So you've got 3 or 4 contenders in that group. The louder it screams. Oh God. Chabi, when they scan Will, it beeps. And you didn't hear it beep when they were scanning people before. And the judge looks you up and down like, sorry, are you human or are you synthetic life?
Oh crap, the chicken's up.
Yes.
All right. A different question. Do you taste spices?
Yes.
So they give you a little capsule.
That is a confident yes, not a questionable yes.
Okay. So you do taste spice then. You do have the same like reactions.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they give you a capsule just to test. They make sure that's all fine, and you're in the same bracket as Eva is. Better not be lying to me there, Will. Autumn. They do a scan of you. Do you taste spice?
I think it depends on the type of spice.
Okay.
I don't think it's a yes or no.
Okay. So they give you a few different capsules to test, and there is eventually one that you taste that you're like, oh, yeah, like that's definitely spicy. So you're
it's effectively, if it's close enough to resemble like disease, or if it's close enough to resemble a poison.
Yeah, basically.
So it's the intensity of the warning signals from like, I have consumed something that might be dangerous.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, they'll put you in a group that's only got about 3 people in it so far, and it's kind of the other category. Like they technically sort of experience spice.
Yeah.
Luna, do Beedrin experience spice normally, or is it different for them?
It is kind of different since they mostly taste sweet things with their taste receptors. So in order for them to taste other flavors, you have to mix it with sweet. Like, oh, I want to see how mint tastes. Let me just put a dab of honey on that.
Ah, okay. So it has to be like sweet for it to even register.
Yes, you
Okay.
gotta because it'll trick like their taste receptors to like open up to taste the sweetness, and then the flavors will get in.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, they run you through a battery of different spices, and they eventually settle on one that is a sweet spice, but it's definitely still like, huh, that's
That's a
uncomfortable.
bit hot.
Yeah.
Okay, according to this, most insects lack the receptors for capsaicin. So yeah, it would have to be something else.
Yeah, it'd have to be specialized.
Yeah.
This is way more world building than I expected out of a hot pepper eating contest. So I'm excited.
We're making facts about our species right on the spot.
Yeah. So can I get everyone to roll me do we have constitution saves in this game? I'm
Physical
trying to
saves.
Physical
We
save,
have
yeah.
physical, mental, and invasion.
Yeah, so a physical save. Can I get everyone to roll me one of those?
Ugh.
Whoa, Luna, like right out the gate.
What
Oof.
the? I got 2 rolls.
Did you?
Yeah, it
Ah,
was.
okay, you did, yeah.
I don't know why I rolled twice.
Weird. Okay. We'll take the first one, unfortunately. So we've got Will and Meeps passed, and Autumn, Luna, and Ava failed. Okay, let me make some checks as well.
2 of us are very close, though.
Yeah, you're not going to be wiped out in the first round, we'll say. There's other people
Okay.
who failed worse than you did. So there's, is that a 2d6, do you know? Or do we know quite what that roll is?
It's a D20, I think.
Saves are a D20, and you have
It's
to
a
meet.
D20.
Or,
What is
yeah.
that?
Rolling
Okay, sorry.
over their
There was a
physical
weird
score.
stranger with a stroller that just like walked onto my yard and walked off. All right. Sorry, I missed all of that. Was it 2d6?
It's a D20, and you have to meet a DC.
Right, you have to beat a threshold. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna roll this like let's roll it 15 times. Why not? Woof. So that's that. Okay, so
you could literally do 15 D20 greater than a certain number, and it will tell you
is
how
there
many
a greater
succeeded.
than? Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's lovely. Okay. Now, can I remember the greater than symbol? This is
the one on the right.
It's the one not involved in writing a heart.
Thank you.
Yes,
that
it's on the right of the keyboard.
That pins it down right away. So greater than, let's say,
left-facing Pac-Man.
Yes, left-facing Pac-Man. I have struggled with that my entire life, and it just doesn't write for whatever reason.
Without space.
Oh, without space. Okay.
Yeah, without the space. Yeah.
Let's try again.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you. Sorry, bear with me, folks. So 5 successes. So we're going to say about half the people in your groups get wiped out in the first wave.
So 1 person.
Yeah. In your case, 1 person. Everyone makes it past the first wave. So you're already in the running for the 15 grand. The next pepper, the first pepper they brought out was kind of your base standard. It's kind of like a habanero, but a little, jalapeno or a habanero, a little spicy, but not intolerable. For those of you who got really high success, in this case, Meeps and Will, you barely even notice it. You're kind of like, oh yeah, that's that's nice.
A little tang to it.
Yeah, a little tang. So the next one they've got is a banana pepper that looks like it grows in a U shape, kind of like almost like a mustache.
I need to look at the banana pepper really quick. If I forgot what it looks like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, Wario. So can I get another round of physical saves?
I can only roll 10s on that.
Okay. Ooh. Autumn, we're gonna say you got knocked out in second round on that one because there were like 2 people in your group and you both got knocked out. 4 successes out of that. Okay, so everyone else has succeeded. That one it was pretty spicy. It's got like almost like a honey tint to it. It's got kind of that kind of weird tang to it. And next round, roll me another one. This one.
What pepper is this one?
this one is something they claim is grown purely in UV radiation. So somehow that increases the spice. They don't specify how.
Shiny.
Aren't
Call that
all
purple.
plants grown in UV radiation?
In intense radiation, at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
All right, dice gods, give me the luck.
Ooh.
Nope.
Oh no!
Oh,
That's
everybody!
a TPK.
Do we
So
want
They
tell
only
you
to
got
when-
one success.
add
So,
a 1d6 to a saving throw, maybe?
Do we
if we
still
have
have a
them?
D6?
I think we got
We
2,
still
and
have
I've
one.
used 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
and
am
I
only 2 away from passing.
As is
I'm
Luna.
like-
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, hold on.
Yeah,
I'm like
it's
6 away.
oh yeah,
and
it does roll
Meeps-
twice for you, Luna. That's weird.
Yeah.
and Mips. If Mips doesn't pass, Mips goes straight into cheating.
Cheat.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to have you roll something for that. So who would like to roll the
Alright.
D6? Because right now
Luna?
you're 3.
Who's the closest to being able to? Is both Eva and Luna are closest to being able to pass it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
They need at
But-
least a 2.
But Luna's number is smaller as well.
Yeah. So go
Doesn't
you,
actually
because you've got a better
matter.
chance of succeeding next round.
Oh,
Let's
but,
see.
but
Oh, true. Yeah.
but hold on, you need to roll a 5 or higher
2.
on a d6 to actually pass, though.
Why?
No, you wouldn't.
Oh no,
It's
sorry,
only a
I'm looking at the
10
second one.
out of 12.
I was,
Oh, okay,
it's
yeah.
I was looking
Okay.
at the second roll.
Gotcha.
All right, please, gods of dice, give me at least a 2. Woo!
There you
Whoa!
go.
Hey.
Whoa. Skin of your teeth. You almost started choking on it. It was so hot, but you managed to finally kind of like swallow it down and like like air your mouth out.
And canonically see like smoke come out their mouth, like
Yeah. Yeah, it almost like oxidizes in your mouth. So you beat wave 3. You are against one other person. Meeps, would you like to cheat?
cheat.
Okay.
Okay. Let me look at the skills here.
Do it.
I think it
Oh,
would.
the
Perform.
cheating is simple.
I think
Tell me
cheat
how
would
you want to
probably-
cheat.
I think cheat
Oh,
would
I-
be like in like perform or something like that.
Yeah, but I
No,
think
I
know what you're
mean-
getting at, Meeps.
I wonder. I simply wonder why do I even need to roll?
You need to roll so as to prove to people that you aren't cheating.
But how would that go?
Because if you're doing that to kind of like, put it off to the side, as I'm assuming you are, like just compartmentalizing the spice, you still need to show people that you are in some way affected. Otherwise they're
You
going to
need
be
to
like,
deceive them
So
somehow.
performance.
exactly.
You need,
Yeah.
you need a bluff that you actually feel the spice.
Yeah, like you can easily,
Mm.
compartmentalize it, but you need to prove that you're not cheating, basically.
Mm,
So perform with charisma or wisdom, I'm going to say. Or constitution, actually, in this case, because you're, changing your body
Perform.
chemistry.
Okay, that's Meep's very strong suit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Likewise, if anyone else wants to cheat on this one, you're more than welcome to. It would still be your perform, though.
Mm.
And William could just cheat by taking off his taste receptors.
Except in my head, I don't think I can.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Also, my charisma and wisdom are also both.
Yeah. A 9. Okay. Yeah, you pull it off well enough to get into the next round. So there's 3 of you. There's Meeps, there's Luna, and there is a Polity that is up on the stage with you. And he looks like he's having a rough go of it, but he's still,
That was chemically very rude statement.
Oh, this is getting a bit tough.
So Luna and Meeps, can I get another physical save from you?
What pepper is it this time?
This pepper is, it doesn't actually look like a pepper when they give it to you. It looks more like a paste that they've molded into like a little ball. And they tell you that this spice grows under the decks like a mushroom.
Do I know
What?
what spice that is, based on the description?
Yeah, roll
No.
me a no +2. Because this, you'd probably be familiar with something like
Is
this.
that wisdom or intelligence?
Either or.
Okay. 8.
With an 8, yeah, you would don't know tons about it, but you know that this is it's almost like a crossbreed of fungi spice.
I might want to pick some of that up later if I can
Okay.
start growing that.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you've seen it around the ship. So what did we get for our physical saves?
Oh, I'm about to
Rolling
find
saves.
out.
Ooh,
Nice.
and the
Get
polity
wrecked,
gets
Rando.
knocked out on that roll.
Get out of here.
So you're now on, I think that was 4, right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
4.
3.
That was
4, yeah.
even more rude, but actually a bit sad and dark.
So you're on tier 4. Tier 5 is, we're going to say it's a ship component. It's kind of your choice of a ship component. Whether that's a hangar bay or anything like, or a hangar bay extension, I should say, anything like that, you'll get your choice within reason. So can I get another roll from Meeps and Luna? You're now at tier 5 going into tier 6. This one is something they grow outside of the ship, almost like a barnacle. And you're not sure how it survives out there, but somehow they've grown it on the hulls of the ship. It's said to have a very smoky spice flavor.
All right, please be good.
Ooh.
What the?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes.
You're getting
Good job,
up
guys.
there. Ooh. So you're now at the tier where if one of you succeeds and the other fails, you'll be one person, right? If you both fail, then they'll have a tiebreaker to see who wins it because they don't know if you're on the same crew. But this tier is either 2 ship components or credit at a starport for an upgrade. And that credit, they say, is ranked at about 120 grand.
Ooh.
So there's that. Can I get another roll?
Oh, let's see this. No!
Oh, no!
Oh,
But
They've just barely made it.
Oof.
He's like limboed under there.
Mhm.
Jeez.
So you get knocked out, Luna. You are just barely holding it together. And then the smoke starts hitting you. The smoke flavor is almost like, it's like you're breathing in fire. And it just scorches the whole of your tongue. Like you can't taste anything after that. And you're like, ah.
My tongue's inside out. I can't feel anything.
the smoke actually like puts her to sleep
Yeah.
because she's
Oh, yeah,
awake.
like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Like,
You're like, oh.
no.
It's a
No,
very
no,
strange
it's like-
nightmare.
Yeah.
No, it's like she's like high, kind of like quotation marks around the word high, because like pine needles like calm.
Oh,
it down,
yeah. You're
like
just kind of
that.
like, ooh.
Like, oh, yo,
That's really spicy.
As me-
So Meeps, you
as Meeps,
squeeze
sorry,
by. Good.
as Meeps feels growing, Meeps ask referee,
Is expanding gaseous metabolites allowed?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, don't overdo it, but
so Meeps lets the pressure go.
okay. Meeps lets the pressure go. We're just gonna roll right past that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
Sure.
So the final
opening on
round.
the top of their head.
Oh my God.
Okay, good.
Is it like on an
It
oil
makes a
drilling
whistling
platform
noise.
where you just see fire? Or
Mm.
That depends on Jay.
We'll say it's so. Growing up in my town, they have a sulfur plant, which is how we. There was some power, but it was more for exports. And when they are what we call flaring the stacks, you'll see them like burning off gas in a huge gout of flame. So yeah, I'd say something like that would happen. if that's cool with you, Meeps. You pop the top, and it kind of does a quick little burst.
What does it smell like?
What does it smell like, Meeps?
Victor.
What does it smell like, Jay?
Yeah, it smells kind of like spicy seaweed.
Well, that probably depends on the species who is inhaling it.
Ah, that's probably fair too. It smells like spicy seaweed for the majority of people. So you're on the final round, and the announcer comes up and kind of claps a hand on your shoulder, like, "This is the final round. How are you feeling?"
These are very rich tastes.
Rich
Some were rude,
tastes.
some were rude, some were sad. But, you know.
I don't know what to make of that, but let's have a round of applause for our final contestant. Yay! Woo! Tonight, your final test is the void pepper. This is a pepper that can only be grown on the bleeding edge of a caravan fleet. Some say they use this pepper as a form of torture in the less hospitable parts of the galaxy. Are you ready?
We are ready.
So they bring out a little pressure-sealed canister, and they pop the top off of it, and anyone that's within the range, anyone that was competing is still on the stage, you can immediately smell vacuum. And you know this smell. This is the smell like when you take your helmets off in the airlock, you still smell that lingering kind of, what they define it as in people who come back in, is a smell of almost burning hair. Kind of the leftovers of like just oxidization. And that's the smell you get off it immediately. It is a almost pure black with little purple iridescent on it. And go ahead and roll me.
Is the probability of lethal experience non-zero?
I don't think we've ever seen anyone go through this without some kind of reaction. And the crowd starts like cheering and, you know.
Well, Meeps, we knew you well.
So Meeps prepares by
Good thing you're a medical professional.
by doing full split. Top quarter will eat, 3/4 on the bottom will survive. Anyway.
Okay. So you're willing to sacrifice part of yourself for it. Okay.
Tonight on Hot Ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So roll me your physical save there, Meeps. Let's see if you make it. Can't believe we're like I'm so invested in this.
It's a good story. No.
Oh.
So describe for me how that works for you. How you're holding your own with this pepper to make it clear that you won in some way.
I have no idea how to work. I don't know. I have no idea how the pepper works. I know how Meeps works, but I have no idea how pepper works.
Well, it depends on how you digest things, really. Because, you know, you're tasting it and then you're digesting it, and the capsaicin within is affecting you on a level you're not familiar with. Like all the other peppers, pardon me, work like a normal pepper. You know, there's capsaicin, there's elements in it. It makes your tongue burn and, you know, all the different normal symptoms. With this void pepper, it's almost like someone's burning you with solar radiation. Like that's the feeling in your mouth that you get. It feels like you're trying to swallow the sun. And you go ahead.
So my upper quarter clearly can't handle this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your upper quarter is starting to break down molecularly.
Oh my god, it's killing me.
Oh wow.
Now the question is, can I handle this?
Can he?
I can handle the pepper, but can I handle dying?
Yeah. That's a really good question. It's not that you're dying per se, it's more you're turning into a plasma. You're like turning into soup.
You know how pineapple supposedly eats you back?
That, but times 10.
It's kind of like a group of tightly bound particles turning, when they turn to gas from a solid, that's kind of what your cells are doing. You don't think this would happen to every species, but since you are specifically multicellular in that way, it's kind of splitting you up, making tiny little meepses.
And they will all die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I want to do this for Eva or not? I think that's too much.
That's the question.
That's
really.
absolutely fine. Don't sacrifice yourself.
Don't sacrifice something I can sacrifice.
Yeah.
Actually.
Up to you.
I don't know, because frankly,
Mhm.
MIPS is built to handle this
Yep.
in many ways. I just don't want to make my character overpowered, sort of.
No, I get you.
I mean, it's a very specific scenario you're in right
is.
now as well.
Yeah. In this particular instance, if you do lose that much mass, you will be at a disadvantage until you've regained enough. I'm gonna say, mechanically.
But I've good. I bought a lot of celery to eat.
Yes, exactly. You'll be in recovery for a bit.
Okay, so maybe let's do this like this. Can any instinct of upper MIPS force upper MIPS to expel the offending substance?
Where would you want to expel it to?
Well, I don't think upper MIPS would care for any answer on this question. Around is the answer.
Oh God.
Everywhere.
Well, that's the question. Will upper MIPS instinct kick in to expel it? Should I roll something?
Yeah, roll me a mental save.
Mental save.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very fair.
Oof. So yeah, your body would react. The upper MIPS would react naturally to a horrible, body killing substance. I want to run this by you before I do it, so I'm not, hamstringing you. Would it make sense to spray it out as quickly as possible?
Yes, of course. If instinct kicks in,
it's the most efficient route.
Well, always.
Okay, so Meeps, you eat it. The crowd sees you not liquefying, but they see you. Yeah, there's something going on internally.
there's very hard fight going on.
Yeah, you start going a little translucent.
Is Meeps
question? Question: How
What's
long
up?
do I have to run away from the kind of exploding meep?
Make me a what is there? Is there a reflex save at all?
There's an evasion save.
Yeah, make me an evasion. And anyone else who's nearby, you're welcome to
no.
do the same.
Oh,
fine for once.
What? So Eva and Luna, everyone else on the stage kind of gets the sense of like something's gonna happen, and they start backing up. Meeps, your head opens up tiny little pores all over you, and you almost aerosolize the liquid in your mouth.
It shoots it off like a water gun.
Yeah, you catch the Trivian, you catch Luna, you catch Ava, and a few other people, and some of the crowd. There's a splash zone.
It's in my eyes.
And you all start experiencing a very strong burning sensation, like you're staring at the sun, if you caught it in the eyes.
Oh, God.
And plus, bees can't blink, so Luna can't just blink it away.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
I never
Get
thought about
this
that.
bee some water.
So the Trivians start screaming. Other people start screaming. Some people in the back are cheering. It's absolute bedlam.
Fucking people, of course.
It's madness.
What would you like to do? Meeps, you no longer feel a sensation of burning and disintegrating.
Yes, now you're sharing it.
Yeah.
By force.
Oh god. I think Eva's like hunting for something of a liquid persuasion to just douse herself in.
Okay. You
Luna
start.
the bit. Oh no, so go on.
Okay, so you start stumbling off stage, and you hear shouts of like over here, and there seems to be a team of medics off to the side, there to kind of like spritz your eyes and neutralize whatever you've got on you.
Luna's trying to find it, but some of the thing try to smell like where the station is, but some of the goop got on her antennas.
Oh
So she's just smelling a lot. She's smelling a lot of good. Like I can't see. I can't move.
You end up like bumping into other people on stage who are also blinded.
And keep in mind, Luna's 6 foot tall. So she's gonna.
Oh my god.
She's gonna trample some people on the way to like try to find where it is.
It's sheer chaos on the stage. The Trivian is like trying to hold the show together while like that was unexpected, but I think we're gonna have to go for the judges on that one. Let's see if you're made it to the final tier.
He's dying.
So after about 5-10 minutes, the chaos starts to subside, and the judges come back to say that while you did ingest the pepper, aerosolizing it will disqualify you from the final tier.
Aww. What?
Unfortunately. But you did win the prize of 120 grand in Starport credit and 2 components of your choice.
So I mean Luna got burned for nothing?
Oh no, not nothing. Just not pre-tech.
Time for some upgrades.
Mhm.
So
Mips will help Luna
okay.
personally.
What are you gonna do? Lick the fucking goop off?
No, I use.
Well, have you ever seen? You can get those gel things that you can like clean the dashboard with.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just go across it.
Stick into Luna's eyes? No,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound right.
Oh my goodness.
Whap.
So they'll give you a credit shit basically to say like, hand this to your next Starport. It's like a coupon for 120 grand in Starport credit.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you literally ate something that's used as torture. So plus they
But share the feeling.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a group experience. So I think that's where we're going to end today's session. So let's go back around. Let's go in reverse order this time. Johnny, what was your favorite moment? Where can we find you next? And who are you? In whatever order you like.
All right. Who am I? So favorite moment. Well, this past moment was an experience for sure. I think though my favorite, because I'm really digging the cosmic mystery angles, was kind of a tie between either the pin in the map over by I forget which thing it was again.
By the Soul Peak.
By the Soul Peak, yeah. And there's a space station in the surf. That's sweet. As for who I am and what I'm doing, I am Chabi. I'm Hallway Secrets here on Twitch, Hallway 7 Secrets over on Twitter. I do some streaming, mostly on the weekends, but I'm hoping to add some more streams soon, as soon as I can figure out schedule nonsense. You can find me here as well as on various one-shots on various channels. Check my Twitter if you want to be up to date on that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Jim.
Hi, my name's Jim. You can find me on YouTube under the name Little Jim. My favorite part, has to be when Meep just sort of combusted and spicy stuff went all over the place, and Luna just went blind for that moment. My eyes. It's kind of like that moment from the SpongeBob movie when the king takes off the helmet and is like bald, and it's that one fish that says, "My eyes."
I know exactly which one you're talking about. No, that's great.
Yeah.
The goggles, they do nothing. Tarkora.
Hi, I'm Darkora. I don't really do a lot on Twitch. You can find me here under this name, or you can find me on Twitter at Darkora with an underscore. Favorite moment tonight, I think it's definitely the chili contest. That was really fun. Having Meeps just wow.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos, and I loved it so much.
Perfect. Polished.
Gosh, for my favorite moment, I mean, I love the fact that Meeps ended up winning despite cheating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's sort of the lengths that they were willing to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Was just something that I really enjoyed. Yeah, in terms of where you can find me next, in just about 3 hours, slightly more, on my own channel, twitch.tv/polishedcryptid, where we'll be playing They Came From Beneath the Sea. And that's where you can
Excellent.
find me a lot of the time in general.
I always get worried now whenever I hear you say, yeah, in about 3 hours you can find me. And I'm like, no. And every time it's gonna gives me the heebie-jeebies. Econorlax, why don't you finish us off there?
Hi, I'm Econorlax. You can find me here on Blackfeather Guild and as Econorlax on Twitter. You can find me next here on Tuesday, I think. Yes, Tuesday. Evening, playing Game of Water. And my favorite moment. Actually, I loved in general how we have to do world building on the spot. In general.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, my favorite moment is how Mips and Autumn ends on opposite sides of communicating skills. Mips going all in with every experience, and Autumn going step back mostly every time when interactions are being performed.
Mm-hmm. No, I really like
and
that.
Mips, it's weird for Mips because in a way Mips is closest to Autumn biologically in the entire crew, and yet they are so far away, and Mips wants to bridge that gap to understand how to be a plant better.
That's so cute.
That's why Mips is hanging with Autumn every time Autumn is interacting with plants, and we probably shadow her while farming every single time.
I just want a montage of Meeps like staring at a plant in the hydroponics page. It's like, not yet.
He's just there. He's just there going, tell me your secrets.
Yeah. If I watch it long enough, I can know.
Tell me you all green small
and being impatient with that doesn't help, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a very patient heart. As for myself, I am a GM here on the Blackfeather Guild. You can find me in 3 hours where I'll be playing Animus Absentis. And that's going to be all kinds of strange. Where else you can find me is on Twitter and Twitch at AlienJays. And my favorite part, bar none, was watching the crew go through not only the spicy peppers, but kind of the rigmarole of dealing with the vacuum nerds, which is a beautiful nickname, by the way. I love that. But yeah, the interactions with the Wake Chasers, I think, were some of my favorite, because it showed that your characters were interested in what was going on, but also not willing to give all the whole hog away in terms of what they've learned. It's nice to see a party not so hesitant to give away information, but also not so like forthcoming with it. It was really cool to see. Yeah, so Raven's going to take us out on a raid here, and otherwise, I hope to see you all again next week.
There's something
There is.
in chat that we've started to add.
There sure is. I would also like to take this moment to thank our sponsors, Fundamental RPG and Grinding Coffee Company. You can get 15% off your order at grindingcoffee.co by using the code RAVEN. That's RAVVYN. So thank you, big thanks to them for sponsoring. Take it away, Raven.
Thanks so much. Yes, we have added the sponsor thing to the end, which is very exciting. This was fantastic. I absolutely loved getting to watch this. Thank you again to everyone. And we're going to go on a raid. So we're going to go raid Scraticus, who's doing a really big birthday stream, 24-hour birthday stream for Alice. So definitely go over there, say hi, say happy birthday to Alice, and if you're not already following Scrat, definitely do so. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, thanks again. We will see you all in about a little less than 3 hours.